I started as the master of Jin Feng's Ayulu, astonishing the world with a single sword. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 651, Blue Dragon Order, Attack and Fight. Zuyiren, issue the Blue Dragon Order, and ask all the major forces in the 9 northern counties to find Cao Zhen and Yuan Mu for me. If the local forces pretend to obey but secretly disobey, directly issue the order to kill them. In this way, they can be forced not to take the official road, which will also make it easier for you to find them or attack them secretly. Li Chen's house said in a cold voice, Blue Dragon Society is the overlord of the 9 northern counties. Now is the time to demonstrate the authority of the overlord. It is also the time to show the means of Blue Dragon Society. There are only a few roads to go to Lingnan County. If they are being watched openly, they can only go to some hidden places. This will give Liu Sheng Yijin and the others the opportunity to assassinate. They, Blue Dragon Society, are a killer organization itself, and assassination is actually a normal means. What's more, this time the secret attack is still 3 sword masters. Even if the 2 have not reached the sea of concentration. But as long as they can retreat immediately after missing a strike, even if they are concentrated in the sea, what can they do? Yes, Zuyiren nodded. The 3 of them bowed slightly and left the secret room. The next day, the Qinglong Society issued the Qinglong Order, and all the major forces received the Qinglong Order. There was only one order, which was to find Cao Zhen and Yuan Mu, the guest officials of the Ministry of Personnel. Those who pretended to obey the order but disobeyed it would be exterminated. The order was cold and fierce, and the murderous aura was pervasive. The forces that originally wanted to stir up trouble were all stunned. They sent out their full strength to start looking for Cao Zhen and Yuan Mu. County Government Yongdinguang looked at the secret report in his hand. His expression was calm. This was the territory of the Qinglong Society. The Qinglong Society issued the Qinglong Order as he expected. Moreover, one of his goals was to make the Qinglong Society move. My lord, the Qinglong Society has moved. I have asked the spies of the Ministry of Personnel to investigate. I believe that the base of the Qinglong Society will be found soon, the strange black-haired old man in front of him said. This is a game. It depends on who finds who first. Let Cao Zhen and Yuan Mu be careful, don't take the Qinglong Society lightly, Tianding said fairly. During this period, they received news that the actual person in charge of the 9 northern counties was Li Chen's Hao, the 3rd dragon leader of the Qinglong Society. He had 2 great sword masters, Zuyiren and Liu Sheng Yijin. The 2 had not yet stepped into the sea of concentration. However, in the capital, the Qinglong Society had 2 strong sea of concentration, so they had to be treated with caution. I have informed them of these situations. I believe that with their abilities, even if the Qinglong Society issued the Qinglong Order, it would be difficult to find them, the black-haired old man said. At this time, we can't take it lightly. This is the first contest. If the 2 lose, it will be a blow to us, Tiandingguang said in a deep voice. Understood, the black-haired old man nodded. At this time, on the way to Lingnan County, Cao Zhen and Yuan Mu appeared at a city gate. At this time, there were soldiers guarding the city gate, and there were more martial arts warriors besides the soldiers. The martial arts forces in each county and city sent people. Regardless of whether Cao Zhen and Yuan Mu could be found, they had to search diligently, searching everyone in and out of the city. This Qinglong Society is really making a big fuss to come find us. Yuan Mu, who was beside Cao Zhen, spoke up. Yuan Mu was dressed in green, and looked like a middle-aged man with an ordinary complexion. Compared to Cao Zhen, he was not well known outside, but his strength was not weaker than Cao Zhen. Even if they search in various cities, what can they do? They can't find us. Let's go. The 2 were powerful sea-concentrated masters, and they didn't need to go through the city at all. The 2 went into the mountains and forests. A mountain path, Cao Zhen and Yuan Mu appeared. After this path, we will reach Kangwu County and Lingnan County. Cao Zhen looked forward, and a trace of coldness flashed in his eyes. After passing Kangwu County, Lingnan County is not far away. Along the way, the Qinglong Order issued by the Qinglong Society also caused them a lot of trouble. There was also a resentment in his heart. So there was a murderous look in his eyebrows. Try to get to Shen Gate today, and hope that Zhu Zheng is here, Yuan Mu said on the side. The two stepped forward. Suddenly, Yuan Mu and Xiao Zhen paused, and their expressions changed. Two sword lights suddenly appeared in the dark and swept towards them. The speed was so fast that the sword light was like a meteor. It collided with the air and made a sharp and piercing sound. The sound was piercing and affected their minds. "How dare you!" the two shouted at the same time. Xiao Zhen did not retreat at all. He raised his palm, and the surging blood burst out from his palm. His robe suddenly swelled up, and then he rolled directly towards the stabbing cold light like a python dragon. Puff! The flying dragon formed by the key in his hand crushed the sweeping sword energy. Of course, the sleeves on his arms also turned into fragments in an instant, flying all over the sky like butterflies. Although the sword energy was crushed, the sword light still swept towards Xiao Zhen. Xiao Zhen's face changed slightly. He raised his palm, and the key rotated in his palm. He grabbed it with one hand, and the key in his palm blocked the sword light. At this moment, Xiao Zhen's eyes were full of violence. Divine power, bloody sky fist. Xiao Zhen blocked the sword light with one blow, and then directly used divine power. Bloody aura formed behind him, and a bloody aura that stimulated the mind attacked the person who came. Under this bloody aura, the person who made the move paused slightly. But then a terrifying sword intent burst out from his body, slightly resisting the suppression of this bloody aura. Just at this moment, Xiao Zhen made a move. In an instant, the air exploded, the fist force whistled, and the fist pierced the chest of the person who made the move like a spear. The person who made the move, his eyes condensed, and the long sword in his hand slashed out. The fierce sword intent collided with the opponent's fist force. Bang! The terrifying fist force burst out, and the amazing force like a tidal wave exploded his sword energy and hit his long sword. The person who made the move immediately groaned, and was instantly repelled, with a trace of blood flowing from the corner of his mouth. His footsteps did not hesitate at all, and he turned around and retreated quickly. As for the other side, the person who had attacked earlier was broken by Yuan Mu's palm power after he slashed out with a sword. He turned around without any pause and left without a trace of pausing. "You want to leave? Do you think you can leave?" Yuan Mu did not chase him, but Xiao Zhen was unwilling to let go. The other party was injured, and he wanted to take advantage of the victory to pursue him. His figure was like a rock, chasing after the person who attacked. Seeing this, Yuan Mu's eyes changed, and he also chased after him, but before he moved, the person who retreated appeared behind him again, slashing out with a long sword in his hand, and several sharp sword keys swept his whole body in an instant. He repelled the sword key with a palm. But his figure was also slightly blocked. He looked at the person who drew the sword. Zhu Yiren. A swordsman master in the Danshan realm? It seems that the one who attacked Xiao Zhen was Liu Xingyijin. I didn't expect it was you who attacked. This time, Yuan Mu saw the face of the person who drew the sword clearly. It was Zhu Yiren who attacked him. Chapter 652, Off a Swift Sword, Liu Sheng's Heartless and Destructive Sword. I don't know where you got the courage to use your sword against me. It's good that your Danshan turns into the sea, but you are facing a strong man who concentrates his mind in the sea. Do you have a chance of winning against me? Yuan Mu looked at Zhu Yiren coldly. No chance of winning, but we dare to attack here. Do you think there are only two of us? Zhu Yiren looked calm and his eyes were cold. Really? Hearing this, Yuan Mu's eyes condensed, and his aura surged. A fierce look burst out of Yuan Mu. When it burst out, his mind was observing the surroundings. Prevent someone from attacking him in the dark. The one coming from the Qinglong Club is a swordsman with sharp swordsmanship. If there is someone in the dark, the strength of the person in the dark will not be weaker than Zhu Yiren. If he is cut by such a sword intent, he will probably be injured. He stretched out his fingers. A gray energy burst out from his fingers, and this energy carried a breath of death. Divine power, one finger of death. A terrifying aura of death appeared on Yuan Mu's body, covering the surroundings and suppressing Zhu Yiren. Puff. Under this pressure, Zhu Yiren's face was startled and he spurted out a mouthful of blood. As a strong man with a concentrated mind in the sea, he could not resist the divine power for the time being. Of course, even if he was defeated, Zhu Yiren still wanted to withstand this divine power. Boom! The sword intent on his body condensed into sharp sword energy and rushed out. Without the divine power, he used the sword energy to resist. The surging sword energy attacked Yuan Mu frantically. Under the suppression of my divine power, You can still burst out sword energy to resist. It's very good, but it's still useless. Send you to death, one finger to heaven. At this moment, a terrifying gray energy appeared in his fingers. Under this energy, the rushing sword energy began to disintegrate in a crushing manner. And the gray energy in his fingers exuded a terrifying power fluctuation. If this finger was pointed out, Zhu Yiren couldn't stop it at all. The finger was raised and pointed out. But just when he pointed this finger, suddenly, a white sword light appeared. The speed of this sword light was so fast that even Yuan Mu's consciousness did not react, and the sword light appeared in front of him. The sword light pierced his divine power. It instantly penetrated his mind and pierced his chest. The divine power was pierced, and the divine power suppression on Zhu Yiren disappeared, and his figure retreated rapidly. Bang! Under the bombardment of the finger force, a deep pit appeared on the ground, and the gravel turned into powder. What a fast sword, my consciousness can't keep up. Yuan Mu twisted his body, trying to see the face of the person who made the move clearly. Turning around, he saw a Fei, who was wearing plain clothes and had an unsheathed long sword on his waist. His eyes fell on the long sword on Ah Fei's waist. It was this sword just now. The person who drew the sword did not even sense it with his consciousness. Who are you? Yuan Mu looked at Ah Fei and said. Ah Fei of the Qinglong Society. Ah Fei was very calm. Ah Fei, I have some impression of him, but he had an impression of Ah Fei, but he was just an inconspicuous person in the Qinglong Society, with average strength. But this person used a sword to split his divine power and pierce his heart. The sword technique was sharp and fast. If this person was not fully prepared, he could not stop it. How could it be that ordinary Ah Fei? Bang! Before he finished speaking, the sword energy exploded at the position of his heart, and his heart exploded, and the whole person fell to the ground. Drops of blood flowed out from a small sword hole. Zhu Yiren stepped forward, cut off the opponent's head with a sword, and then poured out the corpse powder to melt the opponent's body. As for the head, it was to be brought to Shindinguang. The 9 northern counties are the territory of the Qinglong Society. If the opponent wants to attack them, Qinglong Society will also show the opponent a little color. Of course, this will also let some martial arts forces in the 9 northern counties know who is the overlord of the 9 northern counties. Go! The two disappeared quickly. On the other side, Liu Sheng Yijin moved quickly through the forest. Xiao Zhen, who was behind him, had a murderous look on his face. Although the opponent was no match for him, he could barely resist his divine power, which made him unable to suppress the opponent in terms of divine power. Even if you can resist my divine power, what can you do? As he spoke, the bloody aura on his body surged, and he stepped on the ground with a bang, shaking the ground, and the body turned into blood-red light and shut out. At this moment, Liu Sheng Yijin, who was fleeing, stopped instantly. He turned around, showing a fierce look on his face, and the long sword in his hand slashed out instantly. The sword light was violent and sharp. Under this sword energy, the air made a sharp sound, and the sword energy that burst out from the long sword was like thunder, emitting a dazzling light, like lightning, condensing together. He slashed at the opponent. Xiao Zhen, who was shooting out, had a ferocious face. The divine power burst out, and the sharp sword energy seemed to be blocked, and the fierce energy under his fist surged. Boom! The fist collided with the sword energy. The sword energy was broken. But when the sword energy was broken, Liu Sheng Yijin stepped forward, holding the long sword in his hands with both hands, and all his energy and spirit were concentrated on the long sword in his hand. A ruthless and annihilating sword intent burst out from Liu Sheng Yijin. A sword slashed out. The terrifying sword intent burst out, like a storm, and the surrounding air flowed at a high speed under this sword intent, affecting Xiao Zhen's divine power. The sword light tore through the space and appeared in front of Xiao Zhen. Divine power, it seems that you are trying to condense the divine power, but unfortunately, it is in vain without the divine power, Xiao Zhen said coldly. I lured you here, but your companions did not follow, and I am afraid they are dead now. At this time, Liu Sheng Yijin suddenly spoke. Hearing this, Xiao Zhen was stunned. But at this time, Liu Sheng Yijin's ruthless and annihilating sword appeared in front of him. The sword intent was sharp and extremely fierce. Just when the sword light was about to hit Xiao Zhen raised his palm and punched out, and his fist collided with the sword light. The sword light was shattered by the punch, but his figure was repelled by the sword light at this moment. Kill you first, then talk. Just now, Xiao Zhen's mind was touched by Liu Xing Yijian's words, which led to Liu Xing Yijian's sword. It's useless to think about other things now. He must kill Liu Xing Yijian first. But just when he was about to make a move, a sword light burst out from behind him. The sword light appeared in an instant. The true key shield on his body and the divine power suppression were completely useless under this sword. And his sword was too fast. Xiao Zhen's mind was all on Liu Xing Yijian. He didn't expect that anyone else would make a move. Swish, the sword light penetrated his body. A figure passed through his body. The figure of the person who passed through paused and turned to look at Xiao Zhen. Bang! Xiao Zhen's lower body was instantly shattered by the sword energy and turned into a ball of flesh and blood. His eyes were wide open, and he didn't even have time to react before he was killed by a sword. He was very unwilling. Half of his body fell to the ground. Chapter 653, Monk Wuho is about to take action. Xiangmen is attacked. This fight was not a duel between the martial arts world. Fei did not attack directly, but seized the opportunity to kill with one strike. The two could not dodge his extremely fast sword. Fei stepped into the sea and concentrated his mind. He was still fast and killed with one strike. With a blessing of divine power, the enemy's divine power could not affect him, and he could burst out with the ability to kill with one sword. To avoid Fei's sword, one must have a strong divine power and sharp divine sense, or have an indestructible defense like a diamond. Of course, it is difficult for anyone to do this. After all, as long as you show a flaw, Fei will seize the opportunity and you will have no chance of survival. This is Fei, the fastest sword in the world. After this time, my divine power should be almost complete, Liu Xing said with a sword. Then he took Xiao Zhen's head and turned away. The two people who came had just left Longbury County, and they were killed not long after. The next day, the heads of the two were sent to Shindinggong in the county governor's office. The huge head was placed in the hall. Shindinggong's face was extremely gloomy. He didn't expect that the two would be killed just 2 days after they left. These were two sea-level spiritual masters. Rampant, really too rampant, killing people and leaving their heads in my mansion. Is this a warning to me? Have you found the bodies of the two? Tiandingguang said. No, the heads of the two were cut by swords. Judging from the marks, it should be Liu Xing Yijian and Zhu Yaoren who did it, but I don't know how they did it, but the pupils of the two were unwilling and stunned. They should have been suddenly attacked and killed in one blow, the black-haired old man said. The Qinglong Society is a killer organization. They forgot this. As long as the killer gives them a chance, they will take your life. Tiandingguang slapped the teacup on the table. In an instant, the teacup shattered into powder under his palm, and the tea did not flow out, but was shattered by the energy in his palm. Have you found the whereabouts of Li Chenshao and the others? They must be in Longbai County, Tiandingguang said coldly. He now wanted to tear Li Chenshao apart. We are almost there, but we are still a little short, the black-haired old man said in a deep voice. We are still a little short. Do our best to find Li Chenshao. The monk Huju from Dashan Temple and his men should have arrived in Lingnan County. Let him take action and destroy the Shan sect. I think Li Chenshao will make a move. When I find him, I will tear Li Chenshao apart myself. Shinding was fair. When Shinding sent Xiao Zhen and Yuan Mu, he also contacted Dashan Temple. Let them take action. Go to Shan sect. Because Xiao Zhen and his men were blocked from traveling, they might be intercepted, but the people from Dashan Temple would not. Yes. Send them a letter immediately. I believe that the Qinglong Society is still excited at this moment. The Shan sect will kill them and let them know the methods of the Lord. The black-haired old man bowed and left. Another place outside Lingnan County. In a dilapidated temple, 5 people in cassocks were meditating. The leader was a middle-aged monk with sharp eyes and a surging aura. There were 4 people beside him with average aura, but their strength was about the 6 difficulties of heaven and man. Creak, a figure walked out from outside. Master, there is news from Longbury County. The monk who came in handed the secret letter in his hand to the monk in charge. The middle-aged monk opened the secret letter and then his face changed. I didn't expect Xiao Zhen and Yuan Mu to be killed on the way here, and their heads were sent to Shindinggong. You, Qinglong Society, are creating a big enemy for yourself, the leading monk said coldly. Master, what about us? We will go to Xiangmen and destroy Xiangmen, but we will change into Qinglong Temple, monk robes, the leading middle-aged monk said. Qinglong Temple, destroyed, Xiangmen, which forced Qinglong Temple to confront Qinglong society. Qinglong Temple will no longer have to close the mountain. This is to force Qinglong Temple to take action. Let's go. The 6 people quickly arranged their monk robes and then put on their hats. Each of them held a sword in his hand. They went in the direction of Shan Gate. Shan Gate. Zhang also received the news that Xiao Zhen and Yuan Yu were killed, and a smile appeared on his face. I wonder what this Shining Lord will do next. Zhang put down the secret letter and thought to himself. Although they showed their strength this time, Shining Lord, as a giant in the Ministry of Personnel, would never be defeated and fled to the 9 northern counties. There must be other means. But we can't be in a passive situation like this all the time. We have to do something. Zhang thought in his heart, waiting for the other party to take action, always being in a passive position. They have to reverse this situation. Lord Shining is very powerful, but he has only one person by his side, and he won't leave the house. It's not possible to surround and kill the other party for the time being, then attack Qinglong Temple. Lord Shining, don't you want to cooperate with Qinglong Temple? If the abbot and the 3 masters of Qinglong Temple die, how can Qinglong Temple cooperate with you? Zhang's eyes lit up. Now the abbot feud is in charge of Qinglong Temple, and there are 3 masters. Previously, the Dharma King Dazi was killed by Liu Sheng with a sword, and there are 2 Dharma Kings left, the Dharma King Baozi and the Dharma King Xianyun. However, after the Dharma King Dazi was killed, another Dharma King appeared to take over the position of the Dharma King Dazi. If these people die, I believe Qinglong Temple will be in a panic. At that time, those old antiques of Qinglong Temple will definitely appear. The specific combat power of Qinglong Temple is vague, so this should be able to find out the specific combat power of the opponent. Zhang thought of this. He immediately started writing a letter to Monk Wuhe, who was now in Qinglong Temple. Monk Wuhe, it doesn't take much effort to kill these people. When he sent the letter, suddenly, a rapid bell sounded in Shanmen. Zhang's face changed. This rapid bell sound must be someone attacking Shanmen. And it's not an ordinary enemy. The enemy is very strong. At this time, at the gate of Xiangmen, a disciple of Xiangmen was cut in half by a knife. Blood was flowing. Qinglong Temple, you dare to attack my Xiangmen? Qinglong Hu will definitely destroy you. Some people growled. Just when they growled, the knife flashed. The body was split into 2. Whoosh! The middle-aged monk in the lead grabbed the disciple of Xiangmen in his hand. Tell me where Hu Zheng is. The voice was soft, with a spiritual fluctuation. In the Shen Hall, the disciple said with a confused look in his eyes. And his hand was pointing in a direction. A trace of ferocity appeared on the middle-aged monk's face. He pinched his palm, and with a click, the disciple's throat was directly twisted off. You deal with the other Shen disciples, I'll go catch Hu Zheng. After saying that, his figure turned into a ray of light and went towards the Shen Hall where Hu Zheng was. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 654, Xiao Qishu, a sword that shocked the world, a sword that cuts the mind. Mountain and river gate in the back mountain. In an empty cave. Xiao Qishu, who had a long sword in front of him, suddenly opened his eyes when he heard the bell. Someone is attacking mountain and river gate. You two, let's go and take a look. After saying that, he stood up and spoke to Emperor Night and Future not far away. When he stood up, Emperor Night and Future also stood up, frowning slightly. As for Ding Peng and Yan Nanshan, they were in seclusion. They were looking for an opportunity to break through the divine power. Let's go. The 3 of them left the cave and headed towards Mountain and River Gate. A disciple of the Mountain and River Hall ran in. Elders Huge, the people from Qinglong Temple, they are coming to kill us, the disciple said in horror. Although Mountain and River Gate has a large number of people, their strength is not strong, and few of them have entered the Heavenly Man realm. The 5 people brought by the other party are powerful. They killed one person with one sword in their hands. It can be said that they killed one person with one step. The blood flowed, which made the disciples of Mountain and River Gate feel terrified. Qinglong Temple, you guys move first, Zhuge Zhangwo was startled. He didn't expect that he was about to attack Qinglong Temple. Qinglong Temple attacked them shaman. Could it be that the real intention of Shindinguang was for the people of Qinglong Temple to attack, and Xiao Zhen and Yuan Yu were just the instigators? Zhuge Zhangwo was thinking. Elder Zhuge, you hide first. Seeing Zhuge Zhangwo in deep thought, the disciple hurriedly said. The opponent was too strong. Elder Zhuge was definitely not a match. Zhuge Zhangwo nodded and prepared to leave Shan Hall and go to the back mountain. As long as he got to the back mountain, let the back mountain Yudi and others take action, and the newcomers would have no chance to leave Shaman. When the two stepped out of Shan Hall, a figure appeared outside the hall. Zhuge Zhangwo, I came here just for you. Where do you want to go? The voice was flat, and his eyes were locked on Zhuge Zhangwo. The breath on his body flowed, and a faint pressure formed in the air. Zhuge Zhangwo and the disciple of Shanman were immediately enveloped by a terrifying pressure. The disciple spat out a mouthful of blood and his eyes were a little distracted. Bang! Zhuge Zhangwo's palm landed on the other person, shocking him back into the hall. But after he made his move, the terrifying pressure on him suddenly increased. The bricks and stones on the ground under Zhuge Zhangwo's feet instantly shattered, his body bent a little, and a mouthful of blood spurted out. Who are you? Zhuge Zhangwo looked at the other person and said. It's okay to tell you, Qinglong Temple, Huju. The middle-aged monk did not report Dashan Temple, but reported, Qinglong Temple. While speaking, he raised his palm, and a burst of energy burst out from his palm, grabbing towards Zhuge Zhangwo. Zhuge Zhangwo, he wanted to take him back alive. Hand him over to Shindinguang. That way they could learn something about Qinglong society. Or they could use Zhuge Zhangwo to set a trap, and Qinglong society would send someone to rescue him. This way, some of the strong men of the Qinglong society can be killed. But when he stretched out his hand, his eyes suddenly condensed, and his hand did not stretch out, but looked behind him. Behind him, a figure in a green robe came from not far away. The man held a long sword. He walked forward step by step. His eyebrows were like knives, his eyes were sharp, and he exuded a strong momentum. His body was straight, and when he walked, the sword energy on his body pierced the sky. The momentum burst out, and there was a sense of overwhelming everything and being unmatched. It was Xiao Keishu who came. Compared with Yidi and future, Xiao Keishu was the most suitable to take action. He was already in Shanman. Previously, he handled the affairs of the 9 northern counties with Zhuge Zhangwo. But later he was in seclusion and rarely showed up. Now he stepped into the sea to concentrate, and his momentum was even stronger. Who is Xiao Keishu? One of the 4 strongest masters in Wenshu. Seeing the appearance of Xiao Keishu and the aura emanating from Xiao Keishu, Huju frowned. A strong man who can concentrate his mind in the sea. His heart moved slightly. He didn't expect that there was actually a strong man who can concentrate his mind in the sea. In Shanman. Who are you? The voice was low. He wanted to know who the person was. Xiao Keishu from Qinglong Hu, Xiao Keishu said. Xiao Keishu, impossible. Hearing this, Monk Huju's eyes condensed. Before he came to Shangman, he knew that in addition to Zhuge Zhangwo, there was another person named Xiao Keishu in Shanman. It's just that Xiao Keishu rarely showed up. But Xiao Keishu's strength was about the same as Zhuge Zhangwo. But the strength of the person who appeared in front of him had reached the level of concentrating his mind in the sea. Nothing is impossible. Everything is possible in martial arts. You dare to come to Shangman today, so stay here. Xiao Keishu looked at Monk Huju with a calm look and a calm voice. But there was a sense of dominance in his words. Hearing Xiao Keishu's words, Monk Huju's face became ugly. He was a strong man who could concentrate his mind in the sea, and the other party was the same as him, but he dared to ignore him. A fierce look appeared in his eyes, and his aura surged. Then let me see your strength, divine power, heaven-destroying dragon claw, Monk Huju shouted in a low voice. He was surprised by Xiao Keishu's strength. The appearance of such a master in Shangman meant that there might be other masters in Shanman. In this case, the people he brought might be in danger. He wanted to make a quick decision. Divine power, shocking sword. Xiao Keishu did not hesitate. He raised the long sword in his hand. A shocking and violent aura burst out of him and then flowed into his long sword. Boom! At this moment, the energy between the surrounding heaven and earth changed, and endless energy gathered towards his long sword. Xiao Keishu practiced the shocking sword in the Book of Forgetfulness. The divine power he chose was the shocking sword. But he integrated the way of the Book of Forgetfulness, allowing him to absorb the energy between heaven and earth and increase the power of his shocking sword. This is his divine power. A sword slashed out, shocking the sky and splitting the earth, showing the strongest sword power. Boom! The long sword slashed out. The burst of sword energy instantly condensed into a huge sword shadow, slashing towards the opponent. Between heaven and earth. A flash of sword light, earth shaking. Huju, who attacked first, was a step slower. He immediately shouted and stretched out his palm. A huge dragon-shaped palm appeared in the void and grabbed towards the sword shadow. The sword energy was shocking, and the dragon claws were flying. Swish! The sword light cut the dragon claws and appeared in front of Monk Huju. Monk Huju's face changed drastically, and the energy in his body surged, and all of it poured out without any reservation, forming a huge aura outside his body. Boom! The long sword that chopped off the dragon claws fell on the aura. The aura shattered. The sword light fell from the top of Monk Huju's head. After the sword light, Monk Huju was still standing, but he looked at Xiao Keishu with horror. I couldn't block your sword, this is impossible. After saying this, a blood mark appeared between his eyebrows, and his body fell to the ground, without breath. Xiao Chu Shui kills his opponent with one sword. Chapter 655, Wu Hu takes action, lends you your life. Late at night, in the pagoda forest at the back of Qinglong Temple. This is the pagoda forest where the corpses of the great monks of Qinglong Temple were buried after their death. Feud, wearing the abbot's robes, appeared in the pagoda forest at the back of the mountain. Looking at the situation here, Feud frowned slightly. He had received a secret letter from Huju of Dashan Temple, asking him to meet him here tonight to discuss some matters about Shindinggong and Qinglong society. Although he was a little confused, why Huju did not go directly to the abbot's room to meet him, but asked him to meet here. However, it was clearly written in the letter that this matter could not be known to others for the time being, so as not to leak out and let the people of Qinglong society notice it. Qinglong Temple itself is at a delicate juncture. It needs to act carefully. Abbot Feud was not confused. After all, this is still Qinglong Temple, so he came to the pagoda forest at the back of the mountain in secret. But he did not find anything here. A bad premonition arose in his heart. At this time, a man in black clothes and black robes appeared not far away, and was coming step by step. He saw a figure. Abbot Feud's face changed, and he turned around and wanted to leave. Abbot Feud, since you are here, don't leave in a hurry. A cold voice came from the black-robed man. Who are you? Why did you forge a letter from Master Huju to ask me to meet here? Abbot Feud asked in a deep voice. He was extremely alert in his heart. Although the other party did not emit murderous intent, he felt an extreme sense of danger in his heart. You asked the abbot to meet here, mainly to borrow something from the abbot, the black-robed man said. Borrow something from me? Abbot Feud's face condensed, and he looked at the other party with a vigilant look. Borrow the abbot's life, the man said calmly. Tantric Buddhism, the great seal of life and death. Hearing the words of the black-robed man, Abbot Feud took the lead, and suddenly slapped his palm, and the true energy in his palm formed a vortex, and pressed his palm towards the black-robed man. Boom! But when the palm fell, the palm power fell into the air and hit the ground. The other party disappeared. Not good. He secretly thought that it was not good, and wanted to roar in a low voice to let the masters in the Qinglong Temple know and come to rescue him. But when he turned his head, a huge Buddha body appeared in his eyes, and the huge Buddha body enveloped his mind, making him so surprised that he could not make a sound. Is this Buddha? He murmured in his mouth. Just as his voice fell, the big Buddha slapped out a palm and landed in his mind. Under that palm, Abbot Feud's mind was shattered, but his face was filled with an expression that was both incredible and infinitely yearning. Buddha Tantric people also practice Buddhism. It is such an honor for them to see Buddha. So there was yearning in their eyes. Plop! The body fell to the ground. The man in black robe walked up to Abbot Feud and checked the breath on the other side. Slowly took off the black cloth. Under the moonlight, the other person had bright eyes, red lips and white teeth, and a beautiful face like a girl. His expression was gentle and his demeanor was unrestrained. He was a handsome man. It was Monk Wu. After receiving the Tripitaka of Life and Death from Su Chen, Monk Wu combined his own views on Buddhism and martial arts, as well as his own pursuits and life insights in his previous life, and he quickly understood some of the essence of the Tripitaka of life and death. Then he came to Qinglong Temple to become a temporary guest monk. During this time in Qinglong Temple, he condensed his divine power and stepped into the sea to concentrate. Received a letter from Zhu Zhengwo. He started to act. The first person he chose to kill was the abbot of Qinglong Temple, Master Feud. Master Feud of Qinglong Temple, although his strength was only Shinran Jiunan, he had the greatest power. It is rumored that he was selected by the high monks of Qinglong Temple for generations. After receiving the letter, he invited Master Huju to come to the back mountain with Abbot Feud. Just met. He did not take action immediately, but came forward step by step and appeared in front of the other party. He also used illusion at the first time. He caused the monk Feud to have mental problems, and killed him with illusion. That's why the monk Feud died so strangely. Illusion kills people, which is very terrifying. Wuhu is condensed divine power combined with the illusion of Japan. One of the three great presiding Dharma kings needs to stay, and the other two also need to be dealt with tonight. He glanced at Abbot Feud, closed the black cloth he had taken off, and turned to leave Qinglong Temple, East Courtyard, a Zen room, Qinglong Temple, one of the three great presiding Dharma King Baoshi. At this moment, he was chanting scriptures. Suddenly, the window of the Zen room opened, and a breeze blew in. In the Zen room, the candlelight swayed. Chanting the scriptures, Dharma King Baoshi stopped chanting the scriptures, stood up, and slowly came to the window. At this time, several strong winds appeared and instantly attacked the acupuncture points of Dharma King Baoshi. Dharma King Baoshi's face changed. He wanted to speak, but a strong wind hit his mute point. A black figure slowly pushed open the door of the meditation room, walked in, slowly closed the window of the meditation room, raised his palm, and a suction force appeared, placing the acupuncture point of the Dharma King Baoshi to the place where the scriptures were being recited. Cross-legged for the other party. Slightly bowed to the other party. Pointed a finger, and the energy in the finger burst out, piercing the other party's heart. Then after a slight bow, he left a meditation room. Another place. In a training room. The naked upper body of the Dharma King Xianyu was dancing his fist, punching out, and the energy was like a wave, constantly hitting the training column in front of him. The ground trembled when he stepped on the ground. A rumbling sound was formed. There were no other monks around, only him. The cultivation method of the Dharma King Xianyu was one of the three unique skills of Qinglong Temple, Akala Sutra, a physical training method. After practicing it to perfection, you can use the key of Akala to protect your body. No matter how the opponent hits, I am like Akala. Boom. The punch was like thunder, and the sound was explosive. The blood and ki were surging all over his body, and the surging blood and ki were constantly blending together. Xianyu Feng was practicing hard, hoping to use the interaction between blood and ki to enable his danshan to become a si. Once the danshan becomes a si, the power of his Akalanatha will become stronger. Not only will his defensive ki be improved, but his body can also be continuously washed and beaten with a large amount of ki, bursting out with a stronger punch. Suddenly, the door of the Zen room opened, and a black figure rushed out. The figure appeared. In an instant, he flew into the air, and a Japanese longsword appeared behind him. He grasped the longsword and slashed it in an instant. He slashed it with a sword against the wind. The sword technique was sharp and domineering. Looking for death, seeing this, Xianyu Feng snorted coldly, and the ki in his body surged. He was like a tiger and punched out. His fist was like a diamond, and the air was blasted by this punch. The ki and the long sword collided with each other. Bang! The fist was cut open, and the blade slashed on the opponent's fist. The fist was like a diamond, and the blade only left a scar on the opponent's fist. Tianyuan Feng showed a ferocious look on his face, and he drew back his fist to prepare to attack again, but the opponent's long sword suddenly rotated, and a ray of light reflected in his eyes, and his eyes closed instantly. When he opened his eyes again, his eyes suddenly froze. At this time, a series of silver flying rings rotated in front of him, making him unable to see anything clearly for a while. Swish! At this moment, a finger touched his forehead. Boom! A burst of energy instantly rushed into his forehead, and Tianyuan Feng fell to the ground in astonishment. Wuhu's figure fell and looked at the body on the ground. The remaining Feng Zhiyuan's strength is in the sea of danshan, and it may not be so easy to attack. Let's save his life first, Wuhu said, and his figure quickly disappeared. Chapter 656, Bad News, Qinglong Temple Crisis. County Magistrate's Mansion. Has there been any news from Huzhou at Dashan Temple? Lord Shinding has been waiting for news from Shanman. The black-haired old man in front of him said solemnly, Huzhou failed. As for who killed him, we don't know, but a shocking sword intent appeared in Shanman. It should be that there is a sword master from Qinglong society in Shanman. Judging from his strength, he is a C-level master. However, many disciples of Shanman died tragically, and the overall strength of Shanman is very poor. Hearing the words of the black-haired old man, Lord Shinding frowned slightly. It seems that the plan against Shanman this time has completely failed. The power of Qinglong society here is very strong. Lord Shinding slowly stood up from his chair while speaking, walked to the door of the hall, and looked at the night outside with his hands behind his back. After we finish this wave, the Qinglong society will move next. Have you found the whereabouts of the third dragon leader Li Chen's Hao? Now the focus is not on other people. As long as we find this Li Chen's Hao and kill him, the purpose of our visit this time will be achieved, Tian Dingguang said. The approximate range has been determined. Give me another day and I will definitely find Li Chen's Hao's location, the black-haired old man said with certainty. When the 24 swordsmen arrive, notify me to take action when you find Li Chen's Hao. It will be disadvantageous for us to continue to fight with them, Tian Dingguang said in a deep voice. This is the territory of the Qinglong society. It is extremely disadvantageous to clash with them here. If you want to kill the dragon head. After speaking, he stepped out of the hall. The next day, the sound of bells rang in Qinglong Temple, the pagoda forest in the back mountain. Early in the morning, the disciples who were cleaning the pagoda forest found the body of Abbot Feud, and shouted in horror. After a simple investigation, some monks quickly brought the body back to the main hall, and quickly informed the 3 abbots of Qinglong Temple. A monk wearing a golden cassock appeared at the entrance of the main hall. Greetings, Dharma King Xian. The monks in the hall saluted the newcomer. This person was the 3rd abbot that Wu Hou did not kill, Dharma King Xian, who had the power of Danshan transformation C. The other 2 abbots have not arrived yet, Dharma King Xian said. Not yet, the middle-aged monk in front of him replied. How is the investigation in the back mountain? There are very few traces of fighting. We only found traces of the abbot's one move, nothing else. After that move, the abbot had no chance to attack, but we did not find any wounds on the abbot's body, and the expression on the abbot's face was very strange, the middle-aged monk informed him of the investigation. Upon hearing this, Dharma King Xian came to Abbot Feud. After checking, his expression was solemn. It's unlikely that he died of a mental collapse, although the abbot's strength is not at the level of Danshan Huahei. He is practicing the Tripitaka of life and death. His mind is not weaker than that of ordinary Danshan Huahei masters. How could he die of a mental collapse all of a sudden? Dharma King Xian's voice was filled with a hint of doubt. Not good. At this time, a young monk rushed into the hall. His face was pale. What happened? Seeing this, the middle-aged monk in the hall said sternly. Dharma King Xian was killed. Upon hearing this, the faces of the monks in the hall changed. Just when they wanted to say something, another monk also ran in, also with a pale face, and said, Dharma King Baozi passed away. What? Upon hearing this news, everyone's face showed horror. Previously, they thought that only the abbot had an accident, but they didn't expect that even the 2 masters had an accident. Let's go, the leading monk Xian said. The group first came to the meditation room of Dharma King Baozi. Outside the meditation room, several monks looked sad. We entered the meditation room and the Dharma King was sitting cross-legged. We didn't dare to disturb him, but after waiting for a while, we found that the Dharma King had no breath. Seeing the Dharma King Xian, a monk in front of the meditation room spoke. The Dharma King Xian led people into the meditation room. When he came to the Dharma King Baozi, he was stunned, carefully checked, and said solemnly, he was hit by acupuncture points, and finally the key pierced into the brain and died. The finger force was strong. Send the body of the Dharma King Baozi to the main hall, and we will go to the Dharma King Xian. After saying that, he quickly led people to the meditation room of the Dharma King Xian. Someone was already here to investigate. The Dharma King Xian was killed by someone using finger force to pierce the heart meridian. The finger force was strong, somewhat similar to the Vajra Heaven Zen finger of Dashan Temple. A monk saw the Dharma King Xian and stepped forward and said, the Dharma King Baozi also died under the strong force of his fingers. Move the body of the Dharma King Xianyun into the main hall first, the Dharma King Xianyun said in a deep voice. A group of people returned to the main hall with the bodies. 3 bodies were placed in the center of the main hall. Do you know why the abbot went to the pagoda forest in the back mountain? The Dharma King Xianyun asked the monk serving beside the abbot. Last night, the abbot received a letter, so he went out. As for the content of the letter, I don't know, the monk replied. Letter. Hearing this, the Dharma King Xianyun came to the body of Abbot Feud and checked it. He did not find the letter. He frowned slightly. Dharma King, the person who can send a letter to ask the abbot to go should be someone familiar to the abbot, a monk said. This matter is not simple. If it goes wrong, it will be a great disaster for me, Qinglong Temple. I will go to the back mountain to meet the ancestors and let the ancestors come out of the mountain and sit in Qinglong Temple, the Dharma King Xianyun said. When his voice fell, a figure quickly walked in from outside the hall. Brother Xianyun, what's going on? The person who came was a thin monk wearing plain clothes. When he saw the 3 bodies on the ground, his face changed drastically. The abbot and the other 2 abbots were killed last night. What did you find out outside? The one who came was Xianyun Dharma King's junior brother, Zen Master Haiming. I got the news that Huju from Dashan Temple attacked Xiangmen in the name of Qinglong Temple, but there are sword masters from Qinglong Society in Xiangmen. Monk Huju and all the people he brought died. Now Huge Hangwo from Xiangmen is carrying the bodies of these people from Lingnan County to my Qinglong Temple, Zen Masters Haiming said. Dashan Temple actually attacked Xiangmen in the name of Qinglong Temple. How could they do that? Could it be that the abbot and his men died in revenge from Qinglong Society? A monk with white eyebrows said. This is unlikely. The abbot would not agree to meet with the people from the Qinglong Society in the pagoda forest in the back mountain. Is it possible that the people from the Dashan Temple took action? The Dharma King Xianyun and the Dharma King Baozi were both killed by the strong and fierce finger force, an old monk beside him said. Don't discuss this matter. I will go and ask the ancestor to come out of retreat first. Everything will be reported to the ancestor before taking action. Xianyun is only one of the 3 abbots, not the abbot, and cannot manage the entire temple, so he needs to ask the ancestor to decide this matter. Chapter 657, The 3 Elders of Qinglong Temple, strike first and destroy Qinglong Temple. Behind the Qinglong Temple, the figure of Dharma King Xianyun appeared in a valley. In the valley, 3 old monks in cassocks were sitting cross-legged. The 3 of them sensed the appearance of Dharma King Xianyun and opened their eyes at the same time. What happened? Why are you so upset? The old monk with white eyebrows sitting in the middle of the 3 spoke. The old man had a gentle look between his eyebrows, and his words revealed a trace of peace. Dharma King Xianyun's anxious mentality also calmed down under this voice. Ancestor, Abbot Feud, Dharma King Baozi, and Dharma King Xianyun were killed last night. Abbot Feud's mind collapsed, and Xianyun and Zibao were both killed by a strong finger force. Dharma King Xianyun bowed and said, boom. Just as Dharma King Xianyun's voice fell, next to the old man with white eyebrows, a burly old monk burst out with a terrifying energy. Under this energy, the surrounding air formed waves and spread in all directions. Xianyun, you just said that Feud and his men were killed last night. His tone was rough, his face was angry, and a sense of oppression burst out from the other party. Under this breath, the body of the Dharma King Xianyun was like a heavy mountain. Reporting, Ancestor Jumi, yes, Dharma King Xianyun said hurriedly. Good, 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 I didn't expect that my Qinglong Temple would be bullied again. The old monk called Jumi stood up while speaking, his voice cold and angry. It should be more than just this one thing, the old man in the middle asked without changing his expression. Monk Huju of Dashan Temple led the monks to pretend to be my Qinglong Temple, to attack the shaman of Qinglong Society, but was killed by a sword master of Qinglong Society. Now the other party is carrying the body to my Qinglong Temple, Dharma King Xianyun said hurriedly. What did you say? You said that Huju pretended to be my Qinglong Temple, and attacked the Shan sect of Qinglong Society, and was killed by them. What a waste, the Jumi monk cursed. This Huju wants to force us to cooperate with Shindinguang of the Ministry of Personnel to deal with Qinglong Society. Feud and others should be the work of Qinglong Society. Brother, what should we do? Another old monk said. Xianyun Dharma King, you go down the mountain and meet Shindinguang, and say that we, Qinglong Temple, are willing to cooperate with them to deal with Qinglong Society, the white-browed old monk said. Now is the time to make a decision. Jumi, you come out of retreat first and take charge of Qinglong Temple." Then the white-browed old monk said to the Jumi old monk beside him. "Yes, brother, let's go," the old monk Jumi said to Zhiyin Dharma King. The two left the valley. "Brother, I'm afraid this is the calamity of my Qinglong Temple. If we are not careful, our Qinglong Temple's 1,000-year foundation will be destroyed," the old monk who spoke last said. "Brother, we have no choice. Dashan Temple has taken action and has given Qinglong Society an excuse in the name of our Qinglong Temple. There is no room for two tigers in one mountain. They will not let Qinglong Temple exist. We can only surrender if we don't fight. My Qinglong Temple is one of the ancestral lands of the secret sect. How can we surrender to Qinglong Society? This war is inevitable. Tiandinguang uses us, and we can also use Tiandinguang. The two parties will join forces to suppress Qinglong Society. As long as Qinglong Society is suppressed this time, we will have time to ask for support from other secret temples," the white-browed old monk said. "Now this is the only way," the old monk who spoke sighed and continued to close his eyes. Outside the valley. "Ancestor Jumi, I will go down the mountain to see Lord Yonding first," King Zhiyin saluted to Ancestor Jumi. "Okay," the old monk Jumi nodded. The two separated. Because the Qinglong Temple was closed, there were no pilgrims coming and going. The way down the mountain was extremely quiet. The bamboo forests on both sides of the stone road swayed in the breeze, and mottled light spots appeared in the mountains and forests. Zhiyin Dharma King moved forward on the stone road very quickly. Suddenly he stopped and looked forward with a serious look. A figure was standing on the stone road. There were two long swords on the waist of the figure, and it was Liu Sheng Yijian. After Wu Hu made a move, Qinglong Temple must think that it was the people of Qinglong Society who made the move, so Li Chenshao arranged Zhu Yaran and Liu Sheng Yijian to appear at the intersection of Qinglong Temple, going down the mountain. Since he had already made a move, there was no need to think about it. Li Chenshao decided to destroy Qinglong Temple first. "Liu Sheng Yijian, what is your intention in blocking my way?" Zhiyin Dharma King said coldly. "You, Qinglong Temple, have been in seclusion and have not asked about the affairs of the 9 northern counties, but now you are going down the mountain. You have violated the promise to close the mountain. Those who violate the promise will only die." As Liu Sheng Yijian spoke, he drew out the long sword in his hand, and a terrifying sword energy burst out from the long sword in his hand. For a moment, the whole stone road was filled with a murderous atmosphere. Bang! He kicked the ground with his foot, and the rocks under his feet collapsed. A man and a sword shot violently at the Dharma King Zhiyin. In the blink of an eye, he appeared in front of the Dharma King Zhiyin, and slashed with a long sword in his hand. The sword light was violent, tearing the air, and set off a fierce sword energy storm. The Dharma King Zhiyin's eyes condensed, and his body immediately retreated. The energy in his body surged, and the blood energy was filled in the surge. He slapped out with a palm. The energy in his palm was like a whirlpool, colliding with the sword energy storm. His body was shocked back several steps by the sword energy, and his eyes became extremely solemn. At the moment he retreated, Liu Sheng Yijian took a step forward, and continued to follow at a very fast speed, and continued to slash with a long sword in his hand, with sword energy running wild. Seeing this, the Dharma King Zhiyin also rushed forward. Now was not the time for him to retreat, and the powerful true energy burst out from his body. "Liu Sheng Yijian, I want to see how strong your sword is," he snorted coldly, and a ferocious look appeared in his eyes. He clenched his palm into a fist and smashed it hard at the sword light. Boom! The two forces collided, and the sky exploded. Under this effort, countless air-formed air blades, and the bamboo forest and the ground next to the rocks were instantly blasted with tolls. After the blow, Liu Sheng Yijian still held the long sword in his hand tightly. And the strong energy in his body burst out in the long sword, forming a terrifying sword energy. He stepped on the ground and his body flew into the air. He slashed with a sword. The terrifying sword energy turned into a sword curtain, and he slashed down with a sword. He rushed out with a force that could tear the world apart. "Protect yourself with the energy, Green Dragon Hand." Seeing this, Master Zhiyin shouted, and a green energy appeared in his body, and then his hand turned into Dragon Claw and grabbed Liu Sheng's sword. Not only attacking, but also defending. The Dragon Claw collided with the sword energy. Bang! The Dragon Claw was cut by the sword energy. The long sword continued to fall, and a divine power appeared on the sword body. Sensing the divine power, Master Xian's expression changed, but it was too late. The long sword had already fallen. Swish! In an instant, Master Xian was split in half by Liu Sheng's sword. Chapter 658, Send you on your way, gather stronger fist force. On another road, 3 figures in monk robes were going down the mountain quickly. They were sent to the foot of the mountain to gather information. Just when they reached the middle of the mountain, several sword energies directly penetrated his body. He fell to the ground without even a scream. Since the Qinglong Society was going to attack Qinglong Temple, they would not give Qinglong Temple the opportunity to seek external assistance. In the main hall of Qinglong Temple, several monks from Qinglong Temple gathered. Among them, Jumi, one of the 3 elders, looked at the bodies of Feud and the other 2 and controlled the anger on his face. Put the bodies of the abbot and the 2 masters in the chanting hall for salvation, let each hall guard and strengthen patrols. Once there is any discovery, immediately warn and surround and kill the opponent. The voice was cold and low. Just as he finished speaking, a monk in charge of reception walked in from outside. Greetings, ancestor. All the people we sent down the mountain were killed. The Dharma King's Yun was also cut in half by a sword. We brought back his body and placed it outside the temple. Hearing this, Jumi moved and appeared outside the temple first. What a sharp sword energy! Do you know whose sword art this is? Jumi didn't know much about the Qinglong Society, so he asked. An old monk with white eyebrows beside him stepped forward to investigate. Ancestor, the ones who attacked should be Liu Sheng Yijian and Zhu Yiren. Liu Sheng Yijian's sword energy was domineering. Zhu Yiren's sword energy was sharp. The Qinglong Society is attacking us, Qinglong Temple, head on. Now I'm afraid that our way down the mountain has been blocked by the people of Qinglong Society, the old monk with white eyebrows who spoke said. How dare they suppress us, Qinglong Temple? Are they trying to treat us like birds in a cage? They didn't go up the mountain to attack us, Qinglong Temple, immediately, which means they are not strong enough now, and we still have time. How strong are Liu Sheng Yijian and Zhu Yiren? Jumi said, at the level of Danshan Huahei, but they can kill Xian Fuang with one sword. I'm afraid their strength is close to the level of Hei's Hong condensation, otherwise, they should not be able to break Xian Fuang's protective aura, the old monk who spoke said. I want to see what kind of ability they have. My Qinglong Temple has more than just one Danshan Huahei strong man. Go to Qilong Hall and ask the 4 Dharma Kings stationed in Qilong Hall to come and ask them to go down the mountain to explore, and ask my senior brothers to come out of retreat. The other party has surrounded and killed me now, and I can't just sit there and wait to die, Jumi said coldly. Yes, the old monk left quickly. After a while, 4 burly monks appeared outside the hall. Greetings, ancestor, you 4 go down the mountain. If anyone from the Qinglong Society stops you, kill them. Jumi seemed very violent. Yes, the 4 left quickly. At this time in the back mountain, a monk who was heading to the back mountain suddenly flashed a white light in front of him. The monk covered his throat with his palm, but blood was flowing from his throat. He looked forward. A figure appeared in front of him. It was Fei. After killing Xiao Zhen, Fei was going to return to Shaman. Zhu Zhengwo planned to attack the Qinglong Temple. So Fei also returned halfway. The monk fell to the ground. Then 2 figures walked out from the dark. One was Li Chen's Hao, and the other was Wu Hu. Wu Hu was wearing a black robe and his face was covered with a black cloth. Now the people of Qinglong Temple were in a panic. No one paid attention to Wu Hu. Let's go and meet the 2 ancestors of Qinglong Temple. Li Chen's Hao's face was full of fighting spirit. Today is the day when Qinglong Society destroys Qinglong Temple. He will not give Qinglong Temple the opportunity to contact and join forces with Shindinggong. After killing the 3 elders of Qinglong Temple, he waited for Shindinggong's arrival in Qinglong Temple. The 3 of them went towards the valley. However, while walking, the figures of Fei and Wu Hua gradually disappeared. Only Li Chen's Hao went forward alone. In the valley, the white-browed old monk and another old monk looked at Li Chen's Hao who appeared, and there was a look of shock between their eyebrows. But then their expressions recovered. I didn't expect that you, Qinglong Society, would not give us, Qinglong Temple, any time. The white-browed old monk looked at Li Chen's Hao calmly. Although he didn't know who Li Chen's Hao and the others were, they must be people from Qinglong Society, who came here at this time. The seed, Li Chen's Hao, the third dragon leader of Qinglong society, come to send the two masters on their way, Li Chenhao said loudly. As he spoke, a terrifying qi appeared on his body. The qi was boiling, sweeping across the entire valley in an instant. And a terrifying divine power permeated. As soon as Li Chenhao made a move, he pushed his strength to the extreme. His divine power was power, domineering power. It was a kind of suppression. The two people in the valley felt the divine power suppression that erupted from Li Chenhao, and their faces changed slightly. The white-browed old monk who was the leader, under this pressure, slowly stood up, and a gentle force appeared around him, constantly squeezing Li Chenhao's divine power. Li Chenhao, do you think you can deal with the two of us with your own strength, brother? Let me first experience his strength, the person next to the white-browed old monk said. You are not his opponent. While speaking, the white-browed old monk emitted a brilliant golden light, which rushed out and collided with Li Chenhao's qi, vaguely forming a ripple that spread around. In the valley, some rocks were instantly turned into powder under these two qi powers. Boom! The white-browed old monk flew out and slapped his palm. Tantra, split the sea of qi. A low shout came from the white-browed old monk's mouth. The airflow in the valley, which was originally suppressed by the divine power, gathered towards the palm of the white-browed old monk in this low shout. The huge airflow, like a wave, condensed into a handprint in the palm of the white-browed old monk. Divine power, Tantra's big handprint. Boom! The handprint fell with the palm, carrying an extremely terrifying force towards Li Chenhao. Li Chenhao, who was below, looked at the attacking handprint. His pupils shrank slightly, and the divine power flowing outside quickly gathered towards himself. He raised his fist. Boom! The fist shadow appeared behind him. His divine power is a combination of fist and power, nothing else. A punch was thrown out and collided with the Tantra's big handprint. The two divine powers collided. The qi was rampant, and the divine power collapsed. The two bodies retreated. But at this moment, Li Chenhao's body shot out and punched out. The punch was like thunder, and the momentum was like thunderbolt. The 36 strange moves of the sky were performed. Qi is the spirit, Yi is the body, Xing is the use. The moves are very simple, but they are extremely domineering. After the punch was thrown, the body shape and fist moved, and the fist shadows were violent, covering the whole body of the white-browed old monk. Life and death energy, the white-browed old monk roared. A terrifying energy appeared around his body, covering his whole body. The energy was also condensed in his palm, and he punched out. Boom! The fists of the two collided with each other, forming a terrible wave, shattering the broken rocks in the valley. Good! Li Chenhao's fighting spirit surged. The strength of this white-browed old monk is extraordinary. He is not an ordinary concentrated strongman who can continue to hone his fists. He wants to hone his strongest fists and fight with Shindinguang. The fist attack did not stop at all. Punch after punch. The white-browed old monk could only face Li Chenhao's continuous bombardment of fists. However, during the collision, he felt that his arm was getting heavier and heavier, and the opponent's fist was getting stronger and stronger. The recoil force was about to shatter his fist. His face was extremely solemn. It was said that Li Chenhao had only stepped into the sea and concentrated for a short time, so why did he have such a terrifying fist? At this time, one of the other three elders saw this, his eyes condensed, and his aura burst out. He wanted to take action and join the white-browed old monk to deal with Li Chenhao. Just a black figure appeared. The long sword in his hand appeared, and he slashed with a sharp sword. Seeing this, he raised his palm and punched out. The fist and the long sword collided with each other, and the two of them staggered and fell on the ground. Just at the moment he landed, a figure appeared like a ghost, and the long sword in his hand stabbed out. This sword pierced through the space and appeared at the throat of the old monk, who landed in the blink of an eye. Unprepared, no one could escape off Fei's fast sword. What's more, the other party's mind was still on Wu Hua, and he didn't expect that someone would sneak attack with a sword so quickly. Chapter 659, The Fist is powerful, the fist is stronger, the white-browed monk dies. Blood flowed and poured on the rocks. The old monk's eyes were full of reluctance. He didn't expect that he, a concentrated strong man, would be killed by a sword before fighting. How could he accept this? No warrior would accept this. But this is the martial arts world. Sometimes, a martial arts strongman may die at the hands of a child. The white-browed old monk who fought with Li Chenhao seemed to have a sense of it. He looked over here and saw the body lying on the ground. His pupils became larger and then became ferocious. The originally peaceful face began to change, and his eyes turned red. A golden energy appeared on his body, and his violent breath was accompanied by Buddha nature. The whole person turned into a Buddha demon. He looked at Li Chenshao with sharp eyes. The breath around him circulated, forming a terrifying vortex. Li Chenshao, I will kill you today. As he spoke, the white-browed old monk stepped forward and rushed out. The golden and black energy on his fists gathered together and punched Li Chenshao. Li Chenshao also punched. Boom! The two forces collided, and with a bang, the ground shook. The radiating fist force hit the rocks beside the valley, and cracks appeared on the rock wall. The two retreated at the same time. This was the first time that Li Chenshao and his opponent retreated at the same time in terms of fist force and fist momentum. I didn't expect that you didn't use your full strength just now. This is your true strength? It really surprised me. Li Chenshao's eyes burst into brilliance, and the power around him surged. He was originally using the white eyebrow old monk, a strong man in the sea who was able to concentrate his mind, to hone his fist force and reach the peak of his mind to fight against Yongdinggong. The stronger the white eyebrow old monk is, the stronger his momentum and fist will be. Kill, the white eyebrow old monk shouted in a low voice, and at the same time, the white eyebrow old monk's body changed, and his monk robe shattered, revealing golden muscles. Waves of terrifying power waves burst out from the opponent's body. Tantric sect, golden wheel seal, his palm clenched suddenly, and circles of golden wheels appeared on his fist. He stepped forward and punched out. The true energy formed a golden wheel and attacked Li Chenshao. The speed was so fast that it was like a golden halo. Li Chenshao's eyes condensed. He had condensed a stronger fist. He could not retreat when he encountered any attack. Once he retreated, the condensed fist would disappear. And the domineering spirit he had felt in the previous battle would also weaken. Once this happened, he would not have to fight with Yongdinggong at all. Because fighting would only lead to defeat. Li Chenshao punched out, and his fist was golden. He punched out one by one, colliding with a golden wheel that attacked at high speed. Bang bang bang. A terrifying air wave erupted from the place where they fought. When Li Chenshao resisted these golden wheels, the white-browed old monk had gravity on his body. Under the pressure of this gravity, cracks appeared on the rocks under his feet. He stepped hard on the ground. A strong gravity burst out. He rushed out and punched Li Chenshao's head at the same time. Li Chenshao also rushed forward, punching out with both fists. The sound was booming, and the true energy was radiating, shaking all directions. Wu Ho and Fei went far away. I'll leave first and pay attention to the whereabouts of Jumi. After saying that, Monk Wu Ho turned around and disappeared into the valley as a shadow. Fei watched the two fight. His figure was hidden in a place. The way the two fought was of no reference to him. What he pursued was a faster sword. As long as his sword was fast enough, no one could block his attack. Boom! The two people in the valley retreated. After retreating, Li Chenshao's whole body moved without wind, making a rustling sound, and raised his fist, with endless fist power on his fist. After fighting with you for so long, my fist power is almost there. If I kill you, my fist power will definitely be a step higher. Fist power, a fist that will conquer the world, Li Chenshao shouted. Fists blasted out. Boom boom boom. A deafening sound rang out like an explosion, and endless fist power permeated Li Chenshao's fist. Demon Buddha Vajra fist, the white-browed old monk shouted, and two terrifying ki burst out from his fist, forming a fist force that was like a barb, attacking Li Chenshao's fist. At this moment, Li Chenshao's fist fell. The terrifying fist force was like a tyrant descending on the world. There was only a fist between heaven and earth, nothing else. The fist collided with a two true ki to form a fist force. It was directly shattered. The white-browed old monk's face changed. A fierce look suddenly appeared in his eyes. Explode! The two mixed ki exploded directly out of thin air, generating violent ki. Li Chenshao's fist seemed to be blocked and could not move forward. Break it for me, Li Chenshao shouted and shot violently, and his fist continued to fall, shattering the explosive ki and heading towards the white-browed old monk. The white-browed old monk retreated. His eyes condensed, and a burst of golden light appeared around him. He wanted to use his body to resist this punch. Boom! The fist landed on the opponent's chest. The terrifying power surged into his body, and the white-browed monk was pushed back by this power, but his body was not shattered by the punch. Your fist power is still a little short, the white-browed monk roared. If Li Chenchao's fist power did not break his defense, then there would be no chance to break his defense again. Because Li Chenchao's previously accumulated fist power had already been used in this punch. If he could not kill himself, he could not form new fist power. You lose. My fist is not only powerful, but also powerful, Li Chenchao said coldly. When his voice fell, a crack suddenly appeared between the white-browed monk's eyebrows, and his eyes turned black. How is it possible? Your fist power actually shattered my eyebrows. How is it possible? How is it possible? The white-browed monk whispered, and then his body fell to the ground. His eyes were dark and lifeless. Li Chenchao's fist was domineering, not only in power, but also in momentum. When the fist hit the opponent, the fist power had already hit the opponent's mind. If you only defend against his punches and forget to defend against his punches, there will be only one result. Your mind will be defeated. Let's go. Li Chenchao restrained his aura and said to Fei in the dark. After killing the white-browed old monk, he can now go directly to the main hall of Qinglong Temple. At this time, the 4 Dharma kings of Qinglong Temple came down from the mountain road without any obstruction. HMPH, a bunch of rats. And they only dare to attack the weak, one of the burly Dharma kings said coldly. We met Shindinguang earlier. After saying that, the 4 people went towards the direction of the county government. After the 4 people left, Liu Shengyijian came out from the dark. If I didn't need you to notify Shindinguang, I really want to fight with you. After saying that, Liu Shengyijian glanced at the direction of Qinglong Temple, and stepped towards the mountain gate of Qinglong Temple. At this time, the 3rd dragon-head Li Chenchao should have dealt with the 2 ancestors of Qinglong Temple, in the back mountain. Chapter 660, Ministry of Personnel, 24 Swordsmen. In the county government, there were 24 people carrying long swords. They were dressed in green shirts, with cold faces and no emotion in their eyes. To say color, or to describe it this way, their eyes were as cold as blades. These 24 people were exactly the 24 swordsmen of the Ministry of Personnel mentioned by Yondinguang. It was also another trump card of Yondinguang. Although he lost Xiao Zhen and Yuan Mu, 2 C concentrated masters, he still had these 24 swordsmen. These 24 swordsmen have lived together for many years. After strict training by the Ministry of Personnel, their sword-drawing movements have become like one person. The sword energy that burst out is even more terrifying. The strength of these people is all in the 9 difficulties of heaven and man. They borrowed some training methods from the military. The ordinary C-concentrated masters could not get out of 2 moves under the swords of these 24 people, and it is possible that they could not get out of 1 move. This is also the confidence of Yondinguang. It is also one of the confidence of the Ministry of Personnel. The Great Zhou dynasty can be awe-inspiring, and the strength of the entire Jianghu, not just the military, is terrifying. If only the giants are terrifying, it will not be able to shock the entire Jianghu. Each department of the court has a strong foundation. The black-haired old man looked at the 24 people standing in the courtyard, his eyes sharp. Once they find the Chenchao's base, they will move. At this time, a servant ran into the courtyard quickly. But when the servants entered the courtyard, he felt a terrifying chill sweeping over him, and his footsteps seemed to be unable to take a step. It seemed that something was blocking his throat, and he couldn't make a sound even if he wanted to. Seeing this, the black-haired old man raised his palm, and a stream of energy fell on the other party. The servant who came here was relieved, but cold sweat still flowed on his forehead. What happened? The black-haired old man said. My lord, the 4 Dharma kings of Qinglong Temple came here to say that they want to see the Lord, the man hurriedly said. 4 Dharma kings from Qinglong Temple came at once. The black-haired old man frowned slightly. Take me to see them, the black-haired old man said to the servant. The servant immediately led the black-haired old man to the hall of the courtyard. The 4 Dharma kings of Qinglong Temple were in the hall, emitting terrifying power fluctuations. Seeing the black-haired old man, the 4 people's eyes fixed. They could sense the terrifying aura fluctuations from the old man. This old man was a strong man who was concentrating in the sea. I wonder what the 4 Dharma kings of Qinglong Temple are here for. The black-haired old man showed enthusiasm on his face. Now they need to cooperate with Qinglong Temple, so they will show great enthusiasm to these 4 people. We are here to see you, sir, and we want to cooperate with you to deal with Qinglong society, one of the Dharma kings said. This person is burly, about 2 meters and 5 meters tall. The muscles on his body emit a luster, which shows that this person's physical strength is terrifying. I didn't expect that. Qinglong Temple agreed to deal with Qinglong Society at this time. It's a good thing, the black-haired old man said with a smile on his face. If we don't join, I'm afraid our Qinglong Temple will be eaten away by Qinglong Society, and finally become an ordinary temple, the Dharma King who spoke said. I wonder if I can see you, sir, the old monk in the lead asked. Why are you so anxious to see you, sir? What happened? The black-haired old man asked in a deep voice. The Qinglong Society attacked Qinglong Temple. They assassinated the abbot and 2 abbots last night. Today they blocked my way down the mountain and killed the Qinglong Temple personnel who were going down the mountain. The Dharma King's Yidun came here before. He was killed by Liu Sheng's sword. So the 4 of us went down the mountain together to see you, sir. Please come up the mountain and deal with Qinglong Society together, the person who spoke said. I will report this to you, sir. Please wait in the living room, bring tea. When he left the living room, he immediately asked the maids in the mansion to bring tea. In the backyard, Shindinguang was looking at the secret report from the capital. The capital was now in a short period of calm. It seems that everyone is preparing for the battle on the 15th day of the full moon. I wonder how you, the imperial teacher, can escape this disaster. Shindinguang put down the secret report and said coldly. Duh. There were footsteps outside the door. Come in, Tiandinguang said. The black-haired old man pushed the door open and entered. Have you found out where Li Chen's house is? Tiandinguang looked at the black-haired old man and said. My lord, 4 Dharma Kings have come down from Qinglong Temple. On behalf of Qinglong Temple, we invite you to come up the mountain to form an alliance and fight Qinglong Society together, the black-haired old man said. This Qinglong Temple is a little late to wake up, but it is a great help to come. Tiandinguang shook his head and sighed. The abbot of Qinglong Temple feud. 2 abbots were killed last night. One of the remaining abbots today, Dharma King's Yin, was arranged to come to see us, but was killed by Liu Sheng on the stone road with a sword. Now, Qinglong Temple is surrounded by people at the mountain gate, so 4 Dharma Kings were sent down the mountain together to successfully reach us, the black-haired old man said. Hearing this, Tiandinghao's pupils suddenly shrank, and then he sighed. The Qinglong Society is taking the initiative. Gather 24 swordsmen and prepare carriages. We will go to Qinglong Temple. Shindinguang sighed as he spoke. He had thought that Qinglong Society wanted to play a game with him. He didn't expect that the other party would not play a game with him at all. They took the initiative and took the initiative. We will leave immediately and go to Qinglong Temple. If something happens to Qinglong Temple, we will lose another arm. Shindinguang stepped out of the room while speaking. Gather 24 swordsmen and let them go up the mountain with us, Shindinguang said to the black-haired old man behind him. Yes, the black-haired old man left quickly, and Shindinguang came to the hall. Greetings, Shindinguang. The 4 Dharma Kings saluted Shindinguang. No need to be polite. Let's go back to Qinglong Temple first. The 4 Dharma Kings nodded at the same time. They walked out of the mansion together. 2 carriages had appeared outside the mansion. The black-haired old man and Lord Shinding got on a carriage. And the 4 Dharma Kings of Qinglong Temple got on another carriage. Then came the 24 swordsmen wearing green shirts and carrying long swords. The group headed towards Qinglong Temple in a mighty manner. Lord Shinding's carriage also brought 24 swordsmen. These 24 swordsmen have a deep aura and sharp sword intentions. Who are they? They are heading towards Qinglong Temple. It seems that Lord Shinding is going to join forces with Qinglong Temple. This time, these seem to be swordsmen from the Ministry of Personnel. I didn't expect Lord Shinding to bring swordsmen from the Ministry of Personnel with him. There are a total of 24 of them. With this lineup, I'm afraid even Li Chen's house of Qinglong Society can't stop them, some people whispered. Of course, there were also some spies from Qinglong Society in the crowd. They quickly passed this information on. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 661, Poisoning, Assassination, and Violent Annihilation. Qinglong Temple, Back Mountain. On the way to the main hall, a flying bird landed on Ah Fei's shoulder. A note fell out of the bamboo tube under the bird's feet. After checking it, it came to Li Chen's how. Tian Dinggong has moved. In addition to the remaining concentrated strong man, he also brought 24 blue-clothed swordsmen. From the fluctuation of the aura, the strength of the 24 people is at the level of heaven and man, and they are all out at the same time, Ah Fei said. 24 blue-clothed swordsmen, sword masters trained by the Ministry of Personnel? Li Chen's how frowned slightly. Before he was about to fight with Tian Dinggong of the Ministry of Personnel, he had investigated the Ministry of Personnel. The swordsmen of the Ministry of Personnel are very strong. They are strictly selected, trained, and then continuously run in to become a team of cooperative swordsmen. The number of swordsmen in the Ministry of Personnel is 24 and 48. Of course, the strength of the swordsmen varies. The 24 swordsmen of the level of heaven and man are rarely deployed in the Ministry of Personnel. This number combines the military momentum and the power of joint attack. The combat power is very strong. I didn't expect that Lord Shinding would bring 24 swordsmen with him this time. Let's deal with Jumi first and wait for Lord Shinding to arrive. Let Zhu Yiren and Liu Shengaijian come together quickly and don't give the 24 swordsmen a chance to gather together and attack, Li Chen's how ordered. While speaking, the two quickened their pace and headed towards the main hall of Qinglong Temple. In the main hall of Qinglong Temple, Jumi was waiting for news from down the mountain. Ancestor, there's news from down the mountain that the 4 Dharma kings are coming to my Qinglong Temple, with Lord Shinding, the man said hurriedly. Good, I thought this Qinglong society was so powerful, but it turns out that it is just putting pressure on us. This time, cooperate with Lord Shinding, kill the dragon head of Qinglong society first, and then wipe out Shaman. Jumi's face showed a fierce look. The other monks in the hall also showed fierce looks on their faces. The people of Qinglong society killed the abbot and the 3 main masters of their Qinglong temple. They must avenge this person. They have a strong hatred. Suddenly, some monks' faces changed and they fell to the ground. Some powerful monks also changed their faces and fell to the ground. Someone poisoned me, the people who fell to the ground roared. It's you. Jumi stepped into the sea and concentrated his mind. He sensed something was wrong and immediately forced the toxins out of his body. The true energy in his body flowed out and covered his body surface. He raised his hand and grabbed the monk who came to report the news. When his palm touched the monk suddenly banged and the whole person was struck by lightning. A smell burst out from him. The people who were close to this monk turned pale in an instant, and they were poisoned before. They fell to the ground and their spirits were gone. This scene was like a tree that was originally full of vitality, but it turned yellow in an instant. What a powerful poison! Jumi's face changed, and he slapped his palms continuously, and the palm wind was fierce. It set off a wave of air and slapped out all the air in the hall. But after these 2 times, in the hall, only he and a monk whose danshan had turned into sea were able to stand. Guangju, check on them, Jumi said to the monk behind him. Yes, the monk called Guangju immediately checked. Old ancestor, they just lost their internal ki, their limbs are weak, and they are in a coma. Once the poison disappears, they should be fine, Guangju said. Is this all you are capable of, Qinglong society? Don't you dare to fight me head-on, Jumi said sternly. The other party's method of attack was completely beyond his expectations. The poison he used just now was extraordinary. If the other party continued to use it like this, he would probably be hit. So he shouted in a low voice, wanting to lure out the people from Qinglong society. And according to the time, his brothers will be here soon, and then they will be able to take down these despicable assassins from Qinglong society. At this time, a sword light appeared beside a bronze pillar in the hall. It went directly towards the monk Guangju. The speed was so fast. Guangju had been alert all the time. When the long sword stabbed at him, he closed his hands and held the long sword. When he held the long sword, he turned his hands, trying to shatter the opponent's long sword. But at this moment, a sword energy burst out from the sword light. Guangju immediately let go of the sword blade and moved his body. He grabbed with one hand, and the sharp energy flowed through his fingertips and turned black iron toward his palm. He grabbed the opponent's head. The long sword of the person who attacked was moved, turning into countless sword shadows, colliding with the dragon claw. Clang! 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 A sound of metal collision broke out. The 2 figures crossed each other. Zhu Yiren, you are just so-so, After the two figures crossed each other, Guangzhou recognized the identity of the person who attacked him. Qinglong Society. Zhu Yiren. When Zhu Yiren was in chaos just now, he sneaked into the hall. Originally, he wanted to kill the opponent with one sword, but he didn't expect that the opponent was always on guard, and he failed to kill the opponent with one sword. Looking for death, at this moment, Jumi's face showed extreme anger, and his face became ferocious and violent. With a move, he disappeared from the spot in an instant, and appeared in front of Zhu Yiren in the blink of an eye. Zhu Yiren's face was shocked, and his body retreated rapidly. Retreat, in front of me, do you think you can retreat? He raised his palm. He slapped Zhu Yiren's head with one palm. At this moment, a sword energy appeared behind him, and a figure flew into the air, slashing with a long sword in his hand. The terrifying sword energy turned into a meteor. A trace of divine power, Jumi snorted coldly and slapped out with his backhand. The meteor-like sword energy was shattered by Jumi's backhand. At this moment, Zhu Yiren's body turned into a residual image and appeared on the other side. Liu Sheng, who had just made a move, looked at Jumi with a solemn look. The opponent's backhand strike shattered his own sword energy with a trace of divine power, and the opponent's energy was strong. The Qinglong Society is a group of assassins who also want to step onto the stage. Today, I will shatter both of you. Jumi looked at Liu Sheng Yijian with cold eyes. Liu Sheng Yijian held the knife with both hands, and the sword energy on his body condensed. As the sword energy condensed, a ruthless and destructive aura permeated in the sword energy. The aura is very sharp, but it has not yet taken shape, and it is useless. Boom. A murderous aura appeared on Jumi's body, and the murderous aura condensed into tiger shape. The aura that Liu Sheng Yijian had just condensed continued to disintegrate under the tiger's murderous aura. Puff. Liu Sheng Yijian spurted out a mouthful of blood. But his eyes were extremely bright. Die, Jumi hated the people of the Qinglong Society to the bone. At the moment when Liu Sheng Yijian's mouth spurted blood, he raised his palm, and the strong aura flowed in his palm, and slapped Liu Sheng Yijian fiercely. Seeing this, Liu Sheng Yijian's eyes condensed, and his body wanted to retreat. But he retreated quickly, and the other party's body was faster. A hand appeared above his head and slapped him down. Chapter 662, Take over, Qinglong Temple, and wait for Shindinguang. Cut with a knife against the wind. At this moment, Wu Hua, dressed in black, appeared. He slashed with a knife, and the knife energy was sharp, directly slashing the palm of Jumi's attack. I didn't expect there was another mouse. Jumi's eyes turned cold. King Kong Iron Fist, a layer of golden light appeared on the arm that slapped out. It was intended to take Wu Hua's knife. But at this time, the knife light turned, and the dazzling knife light made Jumi's eyes close. At this moment, Liu Sheng Yijian stepped on the ground and stabbed out with a sword in an instant. The sword light was like thunder, stabbing at Jumi's chest. The speed was so fast. The eyes opened and the palm fell. But the palm fell. And Liu Sheng Yijian's sword appeared in front of the opponent's chest in the blink of an eye. Roar. Jumi roared, and his burly body began to change, and his muscles became like fine iron. Liu Sheng Yijian's long sword stabbed the opponent's chest, making a sound of metal collision, leaving a white spot on the opponent's body. With your little strength, you want to kill me? Boom. Jumi thrust his palm towards Liu Sheng Yijian. Block. But his palm was blocked by Wu Hua's long sword. Liu Sheng Yijian retreated from the opponent's attack range. His eyes were solemn. His sword couldn't even pierce the opponent's defense. In this case, he couldn't cause any harm to the opponent. At this time, on the other side, Zhu Yiren and the middle-aged monk also fought, and the opponent's body and claws were sharp, not weaker than Zhu Yiren at all. Zhu Yiren vaguely felt that he was suppressed by the opponent. Of course, Zhu Yiren's sword was sharp, and the opponent couldn't take Zhu Yiren down for a while. Suddenly, the middle-aged monk saw Liu Sheng Yijian, whose eyes were always on Jumi. A ruthless light flashed in his eyes. The energy in his palm burst out, and a claw shook Zhu Yiren away. Then he suddenly kicked the ground with his feet, and his body rushed towards Liu Sheng Yijian like a violent sweep. He thought this was an opportunity. As long as he was attacked by him, Liu Sheng Yijian would be seriously injured. Otherwise, wait for Liu Sheng Yijian to come back to his senses. Then the two of them will join forces to deal with him. He is definitely not his opponent, so he needs to seize every opportunity to kill the person who poses the greatest threat to him. Now the biggest threat is Liu Sheng Yijian. Looking for death, At the same moment he made his move, Liu Sheng Yijian had already sensed it. He suddenly turned his body and took a step. Before the opponent's palm fell, he rushed in front of the opponent, and the longsword in his palm was like thunder, and instantly slashed out. Seeing this, the middle-aged monk's face changed. He changed his palm into a fist and punched out, and the fist force hit the sword. Swish! The fist blocked the sword, and the body was shaken back several steps, and blood flowed from the palm. You underestimate me too much. Just at this time, Zhu Yiren appeared behind him. His eyes were cold, and the longsword in his hand instantly slashed out. The sword light exploded, and for a while his eyes were full of sword light. Boom! The energy in his body circulated, trying to resist these sword lights. But in the sword light, a meteor-like sword energy penetrated his ki and pierced his chest. The moment it pierced his chest, the sword energy burst out and shattered the opponent's heart. The long sword was withdrawn. The middle-aged monk fell to the ground. Jumi, who was fighting with Wu He, sensed the situation here and looked furious. But Wu He's body skills were strange, and he couldn't attack the opponent's body at all. Boom! A palm fell in the air, and a figure appeared behind him and slashed with a knife. This time, Jumi didn't resist, but rolled the ki energy around his body to resist the knife, and rushed towards Liu Sheng Yijian and Zhu Yiren. Fierce fists. The two people's faces changed, and they immediately drew their swords. The sword energy was directly torn apart by the fist force and hit the long swords of the two people. The two were shocked by a strong ki energy and retreated several steps. The ki and blood in their bodies rolled, and a mouthful of blood spurted out. Of course, Jumi's body was also rolling with ki and blood in his body when he resisted Wu He's sword from behind. Suppressed the rolling ki and blood in his body. Jumi wanted to take this opportunity to kill Zhu Yiren and Liu Sheng Yijian. Wu He appeared in front of the two people, holding the long sword in his hand, and in the blink of an eye, his body turned into three figures, and the three figures drew their swords at the same time. The sword light suddenly exploded when it approached the opponent. It was dazzling. Jumi's eyes were stunned and trance. A golden Buddha appeared in his eyes. The Buddha crossed the sky and fell with a palm. Divine power, Vajra subdues the devil. Jumi sensed the danger, so he immediately used divine power, which was a mind attack. Swish! It was just a step too late. Because in the moment when his mind was shrouded in illusion, Monk Wu He had already drawn his sword. Generally, Wu He can kill the opponent with divine power illusion, but Jumi is a strong man in the sea who concentrates his mind and has his own divine power. So Wu He made a move at the moment when the opponent was troubled by the illusion, and the long sword in his hand pierced into the opponent's throat. Blood flowed from the long sword. The long sword was withdrawn, and the monk Wu He turned and disappeared in the hall. At this moment, there were only some monks who fell to the ground and fainted, and some monks who were strong enough to resist the poison. Puff! Some people felt that Jumi was killed, and they couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood and fell to the ground. Their eyes turned black and their bodies fell to the ground. When they were unconscious, a figure walked in from outside the hall. It was Li Chenshao. Your blood is surging, adjust your blood first. While Li Chenshao was speaking, his body separated and killed all the monks in the hall in a blink of an eye. These people are all middle-level people in Qinglong Temple. They have a certain status in Qinglong Temple. They are the foundation of Qinglong Temple, and do not need to be kept. As for the other monks outside the hall, they are just ordinary monks and do not need to be killed. After a while, Liu Sheng Yijian and Zhu Yiren finished regulating their breath. When they stood up, Fei brought a group of monks to the main hall, and Wu He was among them. The monks turned pale when they saw the bodies in the hall. They trembled and shivered. All the masters of Qinglong Temple have been killed. As long as you do what we say, you will have a chance to survive. Get rid of these bodies first, Fei said coldly. Hearing Fei's words, the monks of Qinglong Temple did not dare to step forward. You are serious? At this time, Wu He stepped forward and said, your lives are worthless, we don't need to kill you, Li Chenshao said coldly. Okay, I will help you deal with the bodies, but I hope you will keep your promise. While Wu He was talking, he walked into the hall and began to deal with the bodies in the hall. One person stood up, and the frightened monks came out one after another to help deal with it. After a while, the remaining monks came in. Soon, all the bodies in the hall were moved, and the blood on the ground was cleaned up. You three go to the gate of Qinglong Temple to welcome the guests. The others went into the back hall. Zhu Yiren, You keep an eye on the three of them. If they make any unusual moves, kill them immediately, Li Chenhao said to Zhu Yiren. Chapter 663, Strange Silence. Li Chenhao, respectfully welcome. At this moment, there was silence in Qinglong Temple. Some other monks were unconscious in their respective meditation rooms. When Wu He returned, he began to poison. There were many people to be killed in Qinglong Temple, and they were not on the same place. It was impossible to kill them. After all, they did not come with many people. So he used drugs to knock all these people unconscious. Brother Wu He, what should we do now? Otherwise, let's take this opportunity to escape, a monk who went to the mountain gate with Wu He said. If we escape, we will definitely die. Their people are following us. That person is called Zhu Yiren. He has a sharp sword and can kill us with one move. We can only do what they say to have a chance to live. We are worthless. They will not kill us. We just need to take them to the main hall. Wu He looked very calm. You two don't need to be nervous or talk. Just follow me, Wu He said. While speaking, he moved his fingers with a hint of spiritual bewitching. The two monks who had been a little nervous before became calm. The three of them came to the gate of Qinglong Temple, waiting for Shindinggong and his group to arrive. Time passed by little. 4 figures fell into their eyes. Those are the 4 Dharma kings. One of the monks saw the 4 Dharma kings in front of the group and said, Calm down. We just need to take the people to the main hall. Wu He recited Buddhist scriptures, pretending to be calm, and the other 2 monks did the same. The 4 Dharma kings appeared in front of the temple with Shindinggong and others. What are you doing standing here? One of the Dharma kings saw Wu He and the other 2 and said, Master, let us welcome the Dharma king and others here, Wu He said. Shindinggong, please. The Dharma king did not hesitate. Although he did not know Wu He, there were so many monks in Qinglong Temple, and he did not know many of them. Shindinggong glanced at Wu He. This monk was not ordinary. But he did not say anything. Following the 4 Dharma kings into Qinglong Temple. The moment he stepped into Qinglong Temple, Shindinggong frowned slightly. Qinglong Temple seems a bit quiet, Shindinggong said in a deep voice. Where are the other monks? The leader of the 4 Dharma kings spoke up. Reporting to the Dharma king, after the Dharma king left, assassins from the Qinglong society appeared and killed some lone monks. Then the master ordered all the monks in the room to return to their meditation rooms to chant sutras for the abbot and others, and not to come out without permission, Wu He said calmly. Is that so? Then let's go. Shindinggong was stunned when he heard Wu He say this. He couldn't help but sigh in his heart. I didn't expect that the huge Qinglong temple would be made panic by the Qinglong society. Let's go to see Master Jumi first. Shindinggong quickened his pace. The 4 Dharma kings looked very gloomy, and their eyes were filled with murderous intent. The group soon arrived at the main hall of the Qinglong temple. At the entrance of the main hall, 2 monks were standing. Seeing the group coming, they quickly walked into the main hall. Outside the hall, Master, it's a bit strange here. Things might have changed, the black-haired old man beside Tiandinggong said. Since you're here, let's take a look, Tiandinggong said coldly. His eyes were looking at Wu He monk and others in front of him. Wu He monk walked forward, stepped into the hall, and quickly walked to the side. Following them were the 4 Dharma kings. After the 4 entered the hall, their expressions changed. There were 3 figures standing there, and the 2 monks who had just entered were not on the hall. As for Wu He monk and the other 2, they had already gone to the back of the hall. Who are you? The 4 Dharma kings shouted, looking at Li Chenhao fiercely. They rushed to the center of the hall and looked at Li Chenhao vigilantly. Die! Just when they spoke, Li Chenhao soared into the air and punched out. The fist burst out instantly. This punch was earth-shattering. The 4 Dharma kings' expressions changed, and they felt a fist power coming, and a strong sense of crisis rose in their hearts. Join hands, the leading Dharma king roared. The 4 figures quickly gathered together, all the ki in their bodies burst out, and at the same time, they punched out. Boom! But even if the 4 joined forces, they were still no match for Li Chenhao's punch. The 4 people's combined punches were shattered, and Li Chenhao's punches rushed into their bodies. Bang! The 4 figures flew backwards and hit the stone pillars in the hall, spurting out blood from their mouths. Some internal organs followed. One punch. It was just one punch. The 4 people joined forces but were not as strong as Li Chenhao's punch. Swish! Swish! At this moment, Zhu Yiren, who was below Li Chenzhao, took action, and the sword energy in his hand burst out. The sharp sword energy pierced through the eyebrows of the 4 people lying on the ground. Then the 4 people had no blood. I, Li Chenzhao, have been waiting for Shindinguang here for a long time. After a punch, Li Chenzhao said loudly. Shindinguang, who came in after the 4 Dharma kings, took a look at the 4 Dharma kings who were killed. A sharp light burst out from his originally calm eyes. His aura also burst out in an instant. Qilin Society, the 3rd dragon leader Li Chenzhao, I really didn't expect that you would take the initiative and wait for me here. Tiandingguang's expression changed slightly, and then returned to normal. In this situation, there is no need to think about it. Qilin Temple is over. The black-haired old man next to Tiandingguang changed his expression and looked at the 24 swordsmen behind him. Tisk. At this moment, a bright sword light suddenly appeared. However, this sword light was not directed at Tiandingguang or the black-haired old man, but at the 24 swordsmen behind the black-haired old man. The speed was so fast that it could not be detected by the naked eye. The 5 swordsmen near the black-haired old man were split into 2 by the sword energy under this sword light, just like splitting soap, blood bursting, and they died directly without even pulling out their long swords. The swordsmen behind these 5 people also reacted quickly, and quickly drew their swords and slashed them out with one sword. However, due to the limited space at the entrance of the hall, only 5 or 6 people drew their swords. However, this sword energy could not cause any harm to the people who attacked. Instead, a more fierce sword energy flashed by and instantly split the 6 people in 2. Disperse. At this time, the black-haired old man shouted. He raised his palm and a long sword appeared in his palm. He slashed 3 times in a row. The 3 swords were continuous and extremely fast, which blocked Afei's attack for a while. Afei did not fight with the opponent. He stepped back and appeared in front of Li Chenzhao. The purpose of the attack just now has been achieved. 24 swordsmen lost 11 people at once, which is almost half of the loss. 12 swordsmen have limited power. The black-haired old man looked at Afei with a ferocious look in his eyes, and there was a fierce killing intent in his eyes. 24 swordsmen have not yet attacked, and nearly half of them have been cut off. This is a huge loss. He wants to chop Afei into pieces. Chapter 664, Kill them all, except one. Despicable, you, Qilin Society, are really despicable. The black-haired old man looked at Li Chenzhao and said angrily. If it weren't for Li Chenzhao and the other 2 who attracted their attention, they would have been prepared. The 24 swordsmen they brought would not have been ambushed by the other party. There wouldn't have been so many deaths at once. He didn't care about the death of the people in Qilin Temple. But these 24 swordsmen were the elite of their Ministry of Personnel, and losing one of them was extremely painful. We, Qilin Society, are a killer organization, so of course we choose the most advantageous way to attack, Li Chenzhao said calmly. The 24 swordsmen would definitely not allow them to join forces. This is also part of the plan. What a good trick, Li Chenzhao, the 3 leaders of the Azure Dragon Society. I didn't expect that I and others would be completely calculated by you. One thing after another. First you hid, and when I couldn't wait any longer, you sent people to attack the mountain river gate. You took the opportunity to kill my people, causing me to suffer losses, and then you joined forces with the Azure Dragon Temple, but you took down the Azure Dragon Temple one step faster and waited for me to come. In these few battles, I was completely defeated, but I know very well how you killed the 3 elders of the Azure Dragon Temple. The 3 of them are very powerful when they join forces. Tiandingguang looked at Li Chenzhao and said. There was praise in his voice, and his tone seemed very calm. Defeat them one by one. Li Chenzhao did not hide it. Defeat them one by one. Was the killing of the Azure Dragon Temple last night just to create such an opportunity? I didn't even understand it. Tiandingguang sighed. However, sometimes being too confident is not a good thing. I am called Shindinguang, one of the 3 great dukes of the Great Zhou dynasty. The Great Zhou dynasty is not a literary dynasty, but a martial dynasty. I can be one of the 3 great dukes because I have such strength. As he spoke, the aura of Shindinguang burst out. He stepped on the ground. There was a rumbling sound above him. He was even more domineering, his eyes were sharp, and his robes were flying, like a demon god. I heard that you also use fists, but I don't know if you can take my fists. The momentum became louder, and it seemed to control everything in the hall. Li Chenzhao's expression did not change. At the same time, a momentum appeared on his body, which was also domineering. He would not let Shindinguang control the rhythm of momentum. The strong fought. Martial arts, moves, and momentum are all indispensable. The strong who concentrate on the sea pay more attention to momentum. Once his momentum is suppressed by the opponent, he will fall into the rhythm of the opponent step by step. At that time, he will only have the power to parry, but not to fight back. Boom! Divine power, dragon whale swallowing the sky. When the momentum of Yondingang burst out from Li Chen's Hao, he took the initiative. The momentum burst out, and the powerful energy condensed into a huge dragon whale behind him. Roar! The huge roar, the vibration of the power formed, made the whole hall of Qinglong Temple tremble. Under this momentum, Li Chen's Hao was secretly shocked. He had been wary of the powerful people in the Great Zhou dynasty. He didn't expect that when he really faced them, the strength displayed by Yondinguang was stronger than he thought. The powerful momentum swarmed out. The fist momentum that Li Chen's Hao had condensed before also burst out at this moment. In the battle against Yondinguang, Li Chen's Hao began to condense his fist momentum beforehand. With the death of the strongest of the three elders of Qinglong Temple, his fist momentum became stronger. The fist shadow appeared. Under this violent momentum, it was like a giant pillar supporting the sky. Along with the appearance of the fist momentum, a domineering aura also burst out from Li Chen's Hao. Sensing the aura bursting from Li Chen's Hao, Shindinguang's eyes also condensed. He didn't expect that Li Chen's Hao could actually block his divine power. It's a bit unusual. I hope you can surprise me even more. The dragon whale has entered my body, Shindinguang shouted in a low voice. The dragon whale merged into his body. For a moment, Shindinguang's body began to rise, and a terrifying power fluctuation burst out of his body. Coupled with the previous aura, Shindinguang was like an invincible overlord at this moment. Boom! With a step on the ground, Shindinguang rushed out in an instant, and his palm suddenly clapped, and a terrifying energy burst out from his palm. Li Chen's Hao saw this, his eyes flashed, and he punched out. Boom! The fist and the palm collided. A terrifying airwave was formed, and the airwave hit the stone pillars of the main hall of Qinglong Temple, and the huge stone pillars began to break instantly. The whole hall shook. Several people in the hall quickly went out of the hall. Only Li Chen's Hao and Yondingang were in the hall. Both of them were throwing punches, and the power of their punches was increasing. They were probably like demons in the world. At this moment, outside the hall, a figure suddenly appeared in front of the three swordsmen from the Ministry of Personnel. The figure drew his sword and cut the three people in half. In a moment, there were only 10 people left out of the 24. Looking for death? You are looking for death? The black-haired old man roared. Line up and kill! The remaining 10 people gathered together and slashed at the black shadow with a sword. The 10 people were all in the 9 difficulties of heaven and man. The burst of ki was extremely sharp. But after their sword ki was launched, the black shadow disappeared in front of them. Their swords missed. At this moment, Liu Sheng Yijian and Zhu Yiren appeared behind the 10 people. Their figures shot out violently, and the sword light was sharp. The huge sword ki wanted to separate the 10 people. But they didn't expect that the sword ki of these 10 people formed a sword aura, which actually blocked Liu Sheng Yijian and Zhu Yiren's attack. One strike missed. The two retreated quickly. However, the 10 swordsmen did not stop. The sword energy in their bodies was filled with swords, and they went towards Zhu Yiren. Liu Shenggai's sword energy was stronger than Zhu Yiren's, so he killed Zhu Yiren first. Zhu Yiren's eyes condensed, and his body retreated rapidly. The 10 people joined forces with sharp sword energy, and it would be no good for him to fight head-on. He forced Zhu Yiren back with one blow and continued to attack. At this time, Liu Sheng slashed with his sword. The 10 people were instantly divided into 2. 5 of them drew their swords to resist Liu Shenggai's sword, and the other 5 instantly killed Zhu Yiren. But suddenly there was a tumbling on the ground. A black figure flew out from the ground, and the knife flashed. The 5 people who attacked Zhu Yiren were instantly cut into 2 by a knife. When they fought, they all forgot Wu He who had attacked earlier. Wu He's strength was the concentration of the sea. As for the remaining 5 people, Zhu Yiren and Liu Shenggai attacked at the same time, and the 5 people's swords could not stop their attack. The 2 figures crossed and separated. 5 swordsmen with swords fell to the ground. The old man in black looked ferocious, but he did not dare to move, because Afe was staring at him. The old man in black was very afraid of Afe. The opponent's sword was very fast. He could not sense the opponent's attack before. The opponent's strength was also concentrated in the sea. Why does the Qinglong Society have so many sword masters? The old man in black thought to himself. We can't do this. If we continue like this, we will not be able to leave the Qinglong Temple. In the end, the black-haired old man's eyes turned cold, and he raised the long sword in his hand and shot towards Ah Fei. Of course, his mind was also focused on the surroundings. The elusive figure of Wu Hou monk made him have to be on guard. Blood Evil Sword Technique, Blood Evil Heavenly Sword. A thunderous voice burst out from the mouth of the black-haired old man, and along with the sound, the black-haired old man's figure flew into the air without wind. A huge blood-red blade light burst out from his long sword, forming a wave of air and slashing towards Ah Fei. Seeing this knife, Ah Fei's eyes condensed, and his body retreated rapidly. Unable to stop it. His sword art is fast sword. His body turned into a residual image. Boom, the blade light fell, a rumbling sound rang out, and the ground exploded and dust flew. The black-haired old man landed on the ground, and after landing, his body flew into the air again, slashing at Ah Fei, who was dodging. Let's see how many of my knives you can dodge. The voice was overbearing. Boom. The long sword landed and the energy surged, forming a terrifying wave of air around. Where are you? In this wave of air, the figure of Wu Hou in a black robe was forced out. The black-haired old man turned the long sword in his hand, and with one knife, he drew the sword to cut the water and slash down quickly. Boom, the air wave rolled. Wu Hou, who was forced out, could only use his sword to resist. But he was slashed back several steps by this overbearing energy, and his blood and energy rolled on his body. The black-haired old man was also very strong. Swish. At this time, Ah Fei attacked, and the sword light was sharp and domineering. God's power, Blood Evil Vortex, but at this time, the black-haired old man's blood evil energy surged, forming a vortex, which actually affected Ah Fei's long sword. It only affected him for a moment, and the opponent's long sword turned around, slashed out with a knife, and collided with Ah Fei's long sword. Wu Hou's body flew into the air, slashed against the wind, slashed with an incredible speed. At this moment, Ah Fei's sword energy surged, breaking through the pressure of the sword energy, and his body rushed out quickly. The long sword in his hand was like a silver light, stabbing towards the opponent's chest. The black-haired old man roared, and the blood evil energy vortex around him leaped out at the same time, and slashed out with a knife, colliding with Wu Hou's long sword. He blocked Wu Hou first, and then used the blood evil vortex to delay Ah Fei's sword, so he could deal with it too. But this time, when Ah Fei's sword touched the blood evil vortex, it suddenly became faster. Swish. It penetrated the bloody vortex and stabbed the opponent's heart. The heart was stabbed, and the speed of the knife was slowed down. Swish. Wu Hou's long knife slashed out and cut the opponent in two. I pulled out a tooth today. After the anesthesia, it hurts. I won't update today. Chapter 665, Unrivaled Fist, Tianding Lord defeats. Boom. At this time, a rumble sound suddenly rose in the main hall of the Qinglong Temple, and two figures rushed out. Xiandinguang looked at the corpse on the ground, his eyes fierce and fierce. I underestimated you, Qinglong Society. This is the worst defeat I have ever suffered in my life. Xiandinguang looked at Li Chenhao and said. This time he brought 3 concentrated masters, 24 swordsmen, and himself. Such a lineup is very powerful. But he forgot, Qinglong Society is not a normal martial arts force. They don't have a mountain gate. They are good at raiding. Wrong judgment has left him alone now. This time he lost. Li Chenhao, who was opposite him, had a solemn face. After fighting with Xiandinguang for several rounds, he could sense that the power bursting out of Xiandinguang's body was extremely powerful. Even if he condensed a super strong fist, he could still resist when fighting with Xiandinguang. The strength of the Duke of the Empire is indeed extraordinary. Mr. Xianding, you are defeated. You came to the northern 9 counties to fight against my Qinglong Society. When you made the decision, you were already defeated, Li Chenhao shouted and took a step forward. Now that the opponent's momentum was blocked, it was time for him to kill him. His body flew into the air, and his fist fell down. A strong fist burst out from his fist, causing a terrifying wave of air. Mr. Xianding's eyes condensed. Now, at this time, it was extremely unfavorable for him. There were 3 focused masters, among whom there was Li Chenhao, whose combat power was not inferior to his. Since you are here, you can't go back defeated like this, Mr. Shinding reached into his arms, and a pill appeared in his hand. He swallowed it in one gulp. Li Chenchao's eyes condensed when he saw this. At this time, the opponent took out a pill, and this pill was definitely not ordinary. The fist fell quickly. Mr. Shinding's energy consumed before swallowing the pill recovered in an instant, and a trace of blood appeared in his eyes, and his strength surged again. He slapped out with a palm. The palm came out like a dragon whale out of the sea, and the terrifying energy rushed out and collided with Li Chenchao's fist. Suddenly, Li Chenchao's blood and qi were surging, and a mouthful of blood was about to spurt out of his mouth. He forced it down and fell to the ground. "Attack together," he shouted. The opponent swallowed the pill, and his strength was violent. He hid him, and his blood and qi were surging. It can be seen that he was suppressed in terms of qi. Wuhu Monk and Fei attacked at the same time. A knife fell, and the sharp blade was like thunder. Fei's sword turned into silver light. Roar! Tian Dingguang suddenly roared, and the terrifying roar formed a huge sound wave force, spreading in all directions. The two people's attacks were blocked by the terrifying airwave. The body was shocked and stepped back a few steps. Although this pill has side effects, it can restore my strength and double it. "Today, I will beat you to pieces." When Tian Dingguang spoke, his eyes became more scarlet, and his body took a step forward, appeared in front of Wu Hua, and punched out. He wanted to kill these three people before the effect of the drug wore off. Boom! But when the fist fell, Wu Hua disappeared. After missing the attack, Chen Dingguang did not hesitate at all. The qi on his fist surged, forming a vortex that spread around. Wu Hua was forced out. "Where are you going?" he slapped Wu Hua. Wu Hua was shocked, and a sense of fatal crisis appeared in his heart. His eyes changed, and he found that he could not find a way to avoid the opponent's attack at this moment. The only way is to take the opponent's move. While speaking, Wu Hua's sword energy surged, and the long sword in his hand slashed out. At this moment, Fei made a move, and the unsheathed longsword in his hand turned into silver light, piercing Chen Dingguang's defense and heading towards Chen Dingguang's throat. The speed was so fast. Seeing this, Chen Dingguang's face changed. With a thought in his mind, he did not expect the opponent's sword to pierce his qi. Dragon Whale protects his body. When the long sword hit Chen Dingguang's body, it was blocked by a qi. The sword was fruitless. Fei quickly drew back his long sword. Because Tian Dingguang returned to defense, Wu Hua's long sword slashed out. When it was slashed out, suddenly, Wu Hua Monk split into 5. Transformed into 5 phantoms, and at the same time, he performed a sword slash in the wind. 5 sharp sword auras fell. "A trifle," Tian Dingguang snorted coldly, slapped out with one palm, and a terrifying airwave burst out from his palm, covering all the 5 figures. With a pop, the 5 figures dispersed at the same time. But after these 5 figures, a figure flew into the air. A sword slashed out. The gray sword aura slashed towards Tian Dingguang. Tian Dingguang, his face changed, his palm turned into a fist, and punched out, shaking the sword. The figure stepped towards Wu Hua. But at this time, Fei drew his sword again, and the sword light flowed, turning into thunder light, covering Tian Dingguang. For a while, only endless sword light could be seen sweeping over. "Disperse!" Tian Dingguang shouted and punched out, repelling the sword light. But then Fei appeared and stabbed at him with a long sword in his hand. Looking for death, at this time, Tian Dingguang's eyes flashed with murderous intent, his palms turned into claws, and terrifying energy burst out from his palms, grabbing towards Fei's long sword. Cut with a knife in the wind, Wu Hua, who was repelled, had a murderous aura on his body and soared into the sky. Endless sword energy erupted from his body, and he slashed with a knife. When these two people attacked, Li Chenchao's fist power began to explode, and terrifying fist power flowed in his body, like a vortex. These fist powers continued to erupt, making the air around him flow with the fist power. As the fist power exploded, Li Chenchao's 36 strange internal skills in the sky began to operate. In addition to the fist power, qi appeared, and an invincible mind burst out of him. The qi power on the fist was like a mountain. At this moment, Li Chenchao stood there like a king of heaven and earth. However, under this punch, Li Chenchao's face turned pale, which showed that this move consumed his energy. Boom! Li Chenchao punched out and condensed his strongest punch. One punch blasted out. The fist fell, and the world changed. Chen Dingguang, who was just about to kill Fei and Wu Hua, sensed the danger, roared, and punched out as well. Boom! The two fists collided with each other, and the fist force went straight into the sky. The surrounding bricks and stones on the ground shattered. A terrifying airwave was formed. Bang! Then Shinding-gong's body was shaken and flew out, and a mouthful of blood spurted out like a blood arrow. Shinding-gong flew backwards, his face changed drastically. As if the blood in his body was out of control, blood marks appeared on his arms and body, and blood flowed out. The moment he landed, another pill appeared in Shinding-gong's hand. After swallowing this pill, Shinding-gong did not stay at all. He turned around and rushed out of the gate of Qinglong Temple. This situation made Li Chen's face tense, but he did not pursue. Issue the Azure Dragon order to inform all forces in the 9 northern counties that whoever kills Lord Shinding will be exempted from all benefits, and those who provide clues will be exempted from 1 year's benefits. Li Chen's, who looked a little pale, said. Chapter 666, Meizu Anshuang arrives, the killer organization, Wuxian. Capital Xianjianxi Murin Qingchen looked at the secret letter in her hand. There was a look of disbelief in her eyes. Duke Shinding was seriously injured and fled, and the others all died in Qinglong Temple. Li Chen's, the third dragon leader of Qinglong society, issued the Qinglong order to hunt down Duke Shinding. I can't believe it, Murin Qingchen sighed. The news she received earlier was that the Qinglong society had not shown up. She thought that the Qinglong society was afraid of Duke Shinding and did not want to confront him directly, so they would show up after Duke Shinding left. Unexpectedly, the Qinglong society occupied the Qinglong Temple, as soon as they made a move, waiting for Duke Shinding, and finally killed him. Only Duke Shinding escaped. You, Qinglong society, are stronger than I thought, but the Ministry of Personnel should send someone to meet Duke Shinding. It will be difficult for Qinglong society to kill Duke Shinding, Murin Qingchen said. I don't know what my father and the old chief think of Qinglong society. Then Murin Qingchen thought of Emperor Zhou and the old chief Zhu Pingshen. When Murin Qingchen saw this secret report, Zhu Pingshen, the previous head of the Xianjian division, also looked at the secret letter. I didn't expect that only Shinding-gong was left after being killed. Did you deliberately leave Shinding-gong, or did you really fail to kill him? Zhu Pingshen murmured. If the people of the Qinglong society really killed Shinding-gong, then the Ministry of Personnel must send the strongest lineup to the 9 northern counties. If they can't find the Qinglong society, they will massacre all the affiliated forces of the Qinglong society in the 9 northern counties. At that time, unless the Qinglong society gives up the 9 northern counties, they will have to fight the Ministry of Personnel head-on. I believe that after fighting with Shinding-gong, the Qinglong society knows the strength of the Ministry of Personnel. So they will not do this. And let Shinding-gong go. Shinding-gong fled back to the capital in a panic. The Ministry of Personnel and Shinding-gong will definitely not have the face to take action again for a while. In that case, the matter will gradually fade away. Is it Li Chen's idea, or someone else's idea? Zhu Pingshen murmured. His curiosity about the Qinglong society grew stronger and stronger. Looking at the information about the Qinglong society, he finally set his sights on the two words Su Chen. The young leader of the Qinglong society, who was in charge of the 9 northern counties, must know a lot about the Qinglong society. If we take him into our hands, we may be able to make the Qinglong society a sharp blade in the hands of the emperor. Zhu Pingshen's eyes flashed with a gleam of light. Jianmen on the building ship. I didn't expect that the crisis in the outer frontier and the 9 northern counties disappeared just like that. I thought it would be a tough battle, but Lord Ling was able to resist Wu Hua, A Fei and Li Chen's alone. His personal strength must have reached the top level of the sea concentration, not inferior to Emperor Wu Hao at all. The nobles of the great Zhou dynasty are extraordinary. With such strong strength, the martial arts world should be able to be suppressed by one hand. Why did they let the martial arts forces in the dynasty rise? And the upcoming full moon 15th day, there is an incredible feeling in it, which makes people unable to figure it out at all. I don't know what Emperor Zhou is planning, but it should be extraordinary. Su Chen looked at the secret letter in his hand and thought to himself. No matter what you do, Emperor Zhou, as long as we are strong, we can deal with it in the end. Su Chen's face relaxed. This time, the outer frontier was unified and the Qinglong Temple in the 9 northern counties was destroyed. He also got 2 orange lottery cards. Combined with what he recently got, he now has 4 orange lottery cards. just as he was about to draw the lottery. Yuan Suiyan entered the room. "My lord, Mei Zuanshuang from Chenghen Palace is here to see you." Mei Zuanshuang and Su Chen met in the 9 counties in the north. They had a very pleasant cooperation. She returned to Chenghen Palace in Jiangnan from the capital some time ago. He didn't expect that she would come to see him now. "Please invite her in." Su Chen was still very happy to meet an old friend in a foreign land. After a while, Mei Zuanshuang, wearing white clothes and carrying a long zither, followed Yuan Suiyan in. "You came here with a zither. Are you going to play a song for me?" Su Chen greeted Mei Zuanshuang and looked at her carrying a long zither behind her. "I came here to tell you something. You are being targeted. I got the news that someone came to Wushan and wanted your head." Mei Zuanshuang put down the long zither and said, "Wushan." Su Chen frowned slightly when he heard this. Wushan is one of the 3 major killer organizations in Jiangnan. "They took over my business?" Su Chen asked. "I got the news. It's like this. I guess someone has already set their sights on you. Don't underestimate Wushan. In fact, you shouldn't have announced your identity as the young leader of the Qinglong Club so early. Your Qinglong Club is strong, but there is only one person in the open. You have become a target," Mei Zuanshuang said with concern. She was in seclusion in Chenghen Palace. When she got the news, she left Chenghen Palace overnight and headed towards Jinling City. "Do you know who wants to kill me?" Su Chen wanted to know who wanted to kill him. "I don't know, but if your Qinglong Club appears in Jiangnan, even if no one pays, the 3 major assassin organizations will probably attack you. This time I'm here not only for this matter. The Holy Sword Lake is about to open. How about you and I go to the Holy Sword Lake together?" Mei Zuanshuang said. "I also want to go to the Holy Sword Lake. Of course I'm willing to have someone accompany me." Su Chen smiled. Mei Zuanshuang didn't put on airs when she came into contact with him. Although her face was a little cold at the beginning, after more contact, he found that the other party had a good personality. "This time, he came to inform me. After all, I didn't get any news that Wushan was going to attack me. Does the banker know about this?" The banker owns the 3rd largest bank in the world. As the father of Zhuang Zuanji, the head of the banker, he should know about this, but why didn't he tell him? When Su Chen was thinking about it, in an inn far away from the flower boat, a man in black stood by the window, looking in the direction of Su Chen's flower boat. This man's eyes were sharp as a long knife. "Su Chen, the young leader of Qinglong, you are a little different from the rumors. Since you went to the banker last time, you haven't been out of the flower boat again, and you haven't contacted many people, so I haven't found an opportunity," the man in black said softly. "He is the killer sent by Wushan, one of the top 36 killers of Wushan. He has no name, only a code name 9. As the top killer among Wushan, he has a fatal sense of danger. He didn't dare to get close to Su Chen's flower boat. Because he was on the flower boat, he felt a fatal threat. As long as he got close to the flower boat, he might be attacked and killed. Su Chen was protected by top assassins. So he was not in a hurry. He needed to find an opportunity to kill with one strike. Chapter 667, Alert, Faint Killing Intent. Retracting his gaze, the man in black returned to the room. There were some portraits in the room. The top ones were Su Chen, Yuan Suiyan, Zhuang Zuanji, and Zhuang Mingfen, and below were some portraits and information of other people. Although he could not get close to Su Chen's flower boat, it did not prevent him from collecting information. Wushan, as one of the 3 major killer organizations in Jiangnan, it has a strong intelligence system in Jiangnan. Finally, his eyes fell on Zhuang Mingfen. "I wonder if I can use Zhuang Mingfen to find an opportunity to kill Su Chen," the man in black murmured. According to the information, Su Chen only left the flower boat once, and that was to go to the Zhuang family. So if you want to find a chance to escape, you can only work hard from the Zhuang family. At this time, a servant appeared outside the inn and knocked on the door of the man in black. "Come in," the man in black said. The servants walked in. "My lord, the latest news is that Mei Zuanshuang from Chenghen Palace appeared on Su Chen's flower boat. This is Mei Zuanshuang's information, and some information about her contact with Su Chen in the 9 northern counties." After the servant put down a stack of information, he bowed and left the room. The man in black picked up Mei Zuanshuang's information and read it for a while. A light flashed in his eyes. He quickly came to the table and found a painting from a pile of portraits. If Su Chen was there, he would recognize the owner of the portrait. "This is Li Mushan, The second family of Jinling City, Li family. Last time, Li Mushin's people were killed by Yuan Suiyan beside the flower boat. This Li Mushin threatened to seek revenge on Yuan Suiyan and Su Chen, but was later confined by the Li family and never appeared. It is estimated that he will not appear again until Su Chen and the others leave. When he checked the information before, he knew that Changhan Palace and the Li family had always had interests in dealing with each other. Maybe this is an opportunity. Looking at the portrait of Li Mushin, the man in black showed a grim smile on his face. Turning and entering another room in the inn. After a while, he appeared again, and the man in black had become Li Mushin. At this time, Nanguang family. Sister, I got the news that the people of Wushan came to Jingling, and their target is King Longhu, Shaolong Chief Su Chen. Nanguang Yaoran appeared in front of Nanguang Qiushu and said, "Where did you get the news from?" Nanguang Qiushu couldn't help asking. Sister, you won't forget my other identity, right? I am the gold medal killer of Kanmen. I know some things about Wushan. Is it strange? At first, that person came to our Kanmen, but the leader didn't accept it. But then that person came to Wushan again. I don't know why Wushan accepted this task. Do you think we should tell this Shaolong chief? Nanguang Yaoran said softly. It's not easy for Wushan's people to kill Su Chen. I went to see Su Chen, and he was locked before he got close to the building ship. There are strong people around Su Chen, but we can tell Su Chen about this matter. Maybe we can let Su Chen do us a favor, Nanguang Qiushu said. Do you know Wushan, who is the one who attacked this time? It should be the top 10 of the top 36 assassins of Wushan, but I don't know who it is. Nanguang Yaoran shook her head. The top 10 people, these people, almost missed the target. It seems that they really want Su Chen's life. Hearing this, Nanguang Qiushu's face showed solemnity. When assassins kill people, sometimes it's not about your cultivation. Poisoning, disguising, ambushing, and all kinds of unexpected methods are possible. As long as Su Chen gives the other party a chance, then the other party will have a chance to kill Su Chen. I'll go see Su Chen. Nanguang Qiushu stood up and said, Sister, you are the second most beautiful woman in the world. You can't take the initiative to send yourself to him, and you have a fiancé, and your fiancé is very stingy. If he knows that you went to Su Chen, I'm afraid he will go directly to Su Chen to challenge him. Nanguang Yaoran looked at Nanguang Qiushu and said with a smile. Don't talk nonsense, he is not my fiancé, this is just their intention. My father and I haven't agreed yet. To be honest, I don't like this person very much. Nanguang Qiushu shook his head. I don't like that person very much either, he is a bit feminine. By the way, sister, when you go to see Su Chen, if he wants to thank him, let his general manager Yuan Suiyan meet me, Nanguang Yaoran said. Yuan Suiyan, hearing Nanguang Yaoran's words, Nanguang Qiushu's beautiful eyes moved slightly. Recalling Yuan Suiyan's face in her mind. A gentleman with the demeanor of a disciple from a noble family, I don't know how such a person can become Su Chen's butler. That Yuan Suiyan is not simple, not the people you met before, you can fool around easily, you have to be careful. While Nanguang Qiushu was speaking, he changed into a black dress, put on a bamboo hat, and left the room. At this moment, Li Mushin, wearing a brocade robe, appeared outside the flower boat with a gift box. Li family, Li Mushin has come to visit Su Shaolong to resolve the previous misunderstanding. The voice was loud and reached the flower boat. Su Chen's expression on the building boat moved slightly. He didn't expect that Li Mushin, who had said harsh words last time, would come to visit him. Li Mushin, the playboy of the Li family, he offended you. Meizu Anshuan couldn't help but speak opposite Su Chen. Do you know this person? Our Changhan Palace has some connection with the Li family. Maybe the people of the Li family knew that I was here, so they asked Li Mushin to come, Meizu Anshuan said. Since you have some connection, I will meet him. Su Chen had forgotten about Li Mushin after he disappeared after saying harsh words a few days ago. This time, it seems that he came to apologize. Su Chen also wants to appear generous, so he is ready to meet the other party. Bring him in, Su Chen said to Yuan Suiyan. At the shore of the building ship, Li Mushin saw Yuan Suiyan appear, and immediately stepped forward and said, General Manager Yuan, the last incident was all my fault. I heard that young Master Su Chen liked ancient books, so I specially found an ancient book for young Master Su, and prepared to hand it over to young Master Su in person to express my apology. While speaking, he opened the gift box in his hand, and the book cover looked very old. "Master, I promise to see you. Come in with me first." Yuan Suan took a look at the ancient book, and took Li Mushin to the building ship. When they passed a room in the building ship, Zhuan Jian, who was sitting cross-legged in the building ship, suddenly opened his eyes. Killing intent. It's a very faint killing intent. If he wasn't close to me, I couldn't sense it. The person who came is the top killer who can restrain his killing intent. Zhuan Jian's expression changed slightly. His spiritual sense immediately sensed that the person who exuded a faint murderous intent was heading towards Su Chen's room. Seeing this, he immediately sent a message to Su Chen. Inside the room, Su Chen received the message and his eyes were startled. A faint murderous intent. The killer who could almost avoid Zhuan Jian's perception was not simple. It should be the killer of Wuxian. I didn't expect that the other party would impersonate Li Mushin and use Mei Zuanshuang. It seems that he has been paying attention to me for a long time, collected a lot of information, and took action when he saw the opportunity. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 668, Take advantage of your unpreparedness and kill with one strike. I want to see what the other party has to offer. Su Chen's heart turned cold, but his expression did not change at all. Of course, he was still alert. A person who could almost hide his murderous intent in front of a person like Zhuan Jian was definitely not an ordinary assassin. The door was pushed open. Yuan Suan led Li Mushin into the room. After Li Mushin entered the room, he immediately stepped forward and greeted, "Meet Su Xiaolong Xiao, meet Miss Mei." His eyes accidentally scanned the room. In the room, there were some ancient books and books. Sure enough, as shown in the information, this Su Xiaolong Xiao likes ancient books very much, Li Mushin thought to himself. As a killer, various environments and changes in information may lead to the failure of the attack, so he first confirmed the information he had obtained. At this moment, Su Chen was also secretly observing the other party. The other party had a calm expression and a peaceful aura, and there was no trace of murderous intent at all. I didn't expect, Wuxian, to send such a top killer to kill me. Su Chen was secretly amazed in his heart. But he also wanted to see how the other party performed. Young Master Su, I was a little too presumptuous outside the boat last time and offended you a lot. This time I came to apologize because I know young Master Su likes ancient books. I found a rare book circulated in the palace of the previous dynasty in some antique shops in the city. I hope young Master Su will like it. Li Mushin opened the gift box in his hand. The cover was very old. Su Chen saw the ancient book with a hint of joy in his eyes. But his mind was always paying attention to Li Mushin's state. Li Mushin took out the rare book in the gift box and moved forward towards Su Chen, but his body moved back towards the window next to him. This action was very natural. If Su Chen hadn't been paying attention to him, he wouldn't have noticed it at all. Are you going to attack me? Su Chen sneered in his heart. Su Chen grabbed the rare book with his left hand. When his palm touched the rare book, a terrifying cold air instantly broke out, and this cold air penetrated the book and went towards the other party's arm. In the blink of an eye, the other party's arm was covered with a layer of frost. Li Mushin's face changed. He thought it was not good, and the ki flowed, shattering the frost on his arm, but at this time, a knife light like a drizzle appeared in front of him in an instant. The knife light flashed. A blood mark appeared between Li Mushin's eyebrows. How did you find out, and why is your knife so fast? After Li Mushin said this, his body fell to the ground. He was very unwilling. In order to prevent Su Chen and others from being suspicious, he did not do any defense at all. This series of actions happened in a very short time. Mei Zuanshuang and Yuan Suan next to him did not react. The lone book fell to the ground with the ice. There was no reaction when the palm touched the ancient book. This thing should be just an ordinary book that the other party bought temporarily. Let's see who the other party is, Su Chen said. Yuan Suan already understood that the other party was not Li Mushin at this moment. He walked in front of the other party and tore off a layer of human skin on his face, revealing another face. After checking the other party, there was only a very thin sword on the other party's wrist, and nothing else was found. Master, there are no clues. It should be Wuxian's people. They are moving quickly. A cold light flashed in Su Chen's eyes. Wusheng accepted the task of assassinating him, just to make enemies. He must find this Wusheng and find a way to eliminate him, otherwise, he will be attacked again in the future. However, Wusheng is one of the 3 major assassin organizations in Jiangnan, and it is very secretive. It is difficult to find the other party. I am afraid that we need external forces, Su Chen thought to himself. How did you find the other party? And your strength is much stronger than mine now. Meizu Anshuang was very surprised. Su Chen's strength before was not as good as hers. Now she couldn't see clearly the move Su Chen just made. The knife flashed, and he didn't give the other party a chance to attack. Didn't you say that I was targeted by Wusheng's people? Since I was targeted, I have to be wary of everyone. Although this Li family has some relationship with your Changhen Palace, the second young Master Li has not come for so many days. He appeared when you came, which makes people suspicious, and when he handed me the book just now, his body was facing the window. He was thinking of breaking the window and leaving immediately after a successful attack, Su Chen said. He would not say that a murderous aura on this person was sensed by He Bai Jian. You are quite vigilant. It seems that there is no need to worry about your safety, Meizu Anshuang said. At this time, a black figure jumped in from the window. It was Nangong Chu Shui. I didn't expect to be late. You have already solved the other party. Nangguang Chu Shui looked at the corpse on the ground and said. Miss Nangguang knows where the other party came from. I got the news that Wusheng accepted the task of killing you, so I came to inform you, Nangguang Chu Shui said calmly. Sigh in his heart. He was one step late. I don't know, does Miss Nangguang know this person's position in Wusheng? Su Chen didn't know much about Wusheng, but Nangguang Qiushu, who was born in the Nangguang family, should know something about Wusheng. Nangguang Qiushu came to the corpse. Seeing a tiny knife mark on the other party's forehead, her face was slightly shocked. Then she looked at the other party. Yuan Su Ain was holding the thin longsword in his hand, and a small word 9 was printed on the longsword. The 9th among the top 36 killers of Wusheng, he has no name, codenamed 9. It is rumored that this person has made 136 attacks without missing a single one, and there was also a strong man who was concentrating his mind in the sea. The strong man who was concentrating his mind in the sea was killed by a sword piercing his throat, but this person pretended to be the disciple of the strong man who was concentrating his mind in the sea. I didn't expect such a person to be killed by Su Xiaolong Xiao with a single knife. The scar was from the front, and the knife mark was very fine. It was somewhat similar to the Xiaoyu knife that she had obtained from the information about Su Chen, so he should have been killed by Su Chen with a single knife. Eyes opened, some of them were unwilling to close. They probably didn't believe that they would be discovered. This young dragon leader Su is more powerful than I thought, Nangguang Chu Shui said. I don't know, Miss Nangguang, do you know about Wusheng? Su Chen wanted to learn about Wusheng from Nangguang Chu Shui. Master Su, I can't tell you about Wusheng, but you can go to Black Building, in the black market of Jinling City. They should have information about Wusheng. Nangguang Chu Shui said. Wusheng is one of the 3 major organizations in Jiangnan. It is deeply rooted in Jiangnan. Although the Nangguang family is a Jiangnan family, they don't want to offend Wusheng because of this. Of course, she came this time to tell Su Chen because she got the news from 9 counties in the north, that the 3rd dragon leader of Qinglong Society, Li Chenhao overwhelmed the giant of the Ministry of Personnel, Shindinguang. Now, Qinglong Society is the most famous among the killer forces in the Great Zhou dynasty. Chapter 669, Taking His Place, Wusheng's Ambition. Black Market, Black Building, Su Chen nodded. He didn't know the specific situation of the black market in Jinling City. Yajayu Tajima no Kami went there once, but stayed in the black market for a short time. But the price of Wusheng intelligence is very expensive. If you want their information, I'm afraid you will have to pay a lot of money. Wusheng has 3 attacks. If they fail to kill you within 3 times, according to the regulations, they will not send people to kill you again. Of course, if you don't want this trouble, you can go to the black market. There is an organization called Dark Curse in the black market. It can mediate after Wusheng fails for the first time. As long as you pay enough, Wusheng will stop attacking, Nangguang Qiushu said. Is this possible with money? Su Chen didn't expect there was such an organization. This is based on the premise that you can avoid Wusheng's first assassination. This is not only Wusheng, doing this, but also the other two major killer organizations. If you, King Longhu, want to develop in Jiangnan, you still have to take root in the black market, Nanguang Qiushu said. Thank you, Miss Nanguang. The business of the Jiangnan district of the Qinglong Society is handled by the 7 dragon heads. I won't stay here for long. I was thinking about going to Shengjian Lake with Miss Mei tomorrow. I didn't expect to encounter this matter with Wuxian. Su Chen shook his head. 3 assassinations. Now that the first assassination has just passed, there are still 2 more. Of course, it is not guaranteed that Wuxian will not abide by this potential rule. So it is better to eliminate Wuxian first. The 3 major assassin organizations in Jiangnan, Qinglong Society, is here, so one must be replaced first. This, Wuxian, is very good. Send someone to Black Building to get some information about Wuxian, Su Chen thought to himself. At this moment, far away from the flower boat, a blue-clothed servant looked at the flower boat. After Lin Musheng entered, there was no movement for a while. Turned and left. The assassination of number 9 failed, and there was no movement. Soon, in a small courtyard, a gray pigeon flew out. The blue-clothed servant who sent the message was also ready to leave. Just when he turned around, a flash of knife light passed by. The whole body was split in 2. The figure of Yajayu Tajima no Kami walked out. He searched in the small courtyard, but found nothing, and the figure quickly disappeared. Outside Jinling City, in a cave, Wei Zhuang was sitting on a stone chair. Below him, the 4 heavenly kings, except Qi Lian, were all there. Behind these 3 people, there were 8 people in black clothes, 8 of the 18 altar masters of the Blue Dragon Society. Qi Lian, wearing a red dress, walked in from outside the cave. Chief, this is a secret letter from the former general manager. Qi Lian handed a secret letter to Wei Zhuang. Wei Zhuang opened the secret letter and his eyes condensed. Wuxian is really brave. He actually dared to accept the task of the young leader of my Qinglong Club. Although my Qinglong Club is now very famous, these 3 killer organizations are deeply rooted in the Jiangnan Empire. We are still no match for them. We haven't found an excuse to attack them before, but now they are offered to us. Let me replace Wuxian and become one of the 3 killer organizations in Jiangnan first. And then slowly plot against Jiangnan. Wei Zhuang's eyes flashed with a gleam of light and excitement. Although he has some people on his side, these 3 organizations have been in Jiangnan for too long. It is still difficult for Qinglong Club to be on par with the other 3 organizations. But if they replace Wuxian and take him down, they can quickly gain a foothold in the Jiangnan area. Go to the black market and black building first to investigate Wuxian's information. Since the other party has taken action, we also need to fight back, Wei Zhuang said to Qi Lian. Now Wei Zhuang's focus is to make Jinling the headquarters of Qinglong Club in the Jiangnan area. The black market in Jinling City is the largest black market in the Jiangnan area. It is most beneficial to the development of their Qinglong Society. Yes, I will go to the black market immediately, Qi Lian said and quickly left the cave. You also make arrangements quickly. When Qi Lian gets the news, you will start. Wei Zhuang's eyes flashed with a hint of viciousness. At this time, in Jinling City, in a luxuriously decorated manner, a man wearing brocade clothes, with a fat body and huge gold rings between his 5 fingers, was holding a beautiful concubine in his arms. His hands were placed on the other's plump parts. He was smiling. At this time, a thin housekeeper came in from outside. Seeing the middle-aged housekeeper coming, the fat man pushed the woman in his arms away directly. Go down first. The woman in his arms did not hesitate, bowed and left, and closed the door before leaving. The fat man stood up and walked to the back of the room. Pushing away the shelf where some ancient artifacts were placed, a large secret room appeared. The 2 walked into the secret room. Master, the assassination of number 9 failed, the thin housekeeper said in a deep voice. The person sent to cooperate with him was also killed by someone after sending the message, the thin middle-aged housekeeper said. Number 9 failed. I didn't expect that a young dragon leader could avoid the assassination of number 9. It's really unexpected. Do you know why number 9 failed? The fat man said. This fat man is a hall master of Wuxian, named Song Yejun. Wuxian has a total of 9 halls and 36 branches. Each hall is in charge of 4 branches. Above the hall master, there is also a general hall master, who is also the leader of Wuxian. After number 9 entered the building ship, he did not send any information. He should have been killed without taking action. The other party should have a master around him, otherwise it would be impossible for number 9 to have no chance to take action, the housekeeper said softly. A young dragon leader, with strong people around him. This young dragon leader has an extraordinary status, but such a person is openly exposed. Is King Longhu also arrogant? Song Yuchen said coldly. Do we need to apply for another assassin next, Master? Only number 3 is in Jinling City among the top 10. The others are not in Jinling City. Should we apply to the Chief Master for number 3 to take action? The housekeeper said in a deep voice. No need to apply. When the Chief Master accepted this task, he said that all resources could be used. Who is among the top 20? Song Yuchen said. 3 people, number 12, 15, and 17, are here. Let these people cooperate with number 3, and mobilize 50 assassins. Give them the second assassination. They must take Su Chen's head. Song Yuchen's eyes were a little ferocious. Since the other party has masters around them, distract those masters and let the person who takes action kill them with one blow. Qinglong society has been gaining momentum in the Great Zhou dynasty in the past few days, showing its powerful strength. As long as they kill Su Chen, the young leader of Qinglong society, they, Wuxian, will definitely surpass the other 2 assassin organizations and become the number 1 assassin organization in Jiangnan. This is also the reason why Wuxian accepted Su Chen's task. Chapter 670 Ding Peng's Enlightenment after 10 years, Little Li Flying Dagger Li Zunhuan. On the ship Su Chen didn't know that Wuxian was going to launch a second assassination attempt on him. And there were many people dispatched. It was more powerful than the first time. After sending Nanguang Qiushu away, Mei Zuanshuang didn't stay here. She still needed to visit some forces related to Changhan Palace. My lord, please forgive me. Yuan Suyin stood in front of Su Chen and bowed. Just now, Yuan Suyin failed to sense the murderous aura in the other party's body, and brought the other party into the room, putting Su Chen in danger. This was not allowed. In his heart, Su Chen must not be offended. Those who offended Su Chen would only die. Because Su Chen was the one who gave him life and light again. The other party's convergence technique is not simple, but he has a record of assassinating Hai Zhongningshan. You are not wrong in this matter, don't blame yourself, but this matter shows that Wuxian is not simple. Next, we still have to be careful. Su Chen was still a little frightened. If it weren't for Xuanjian, the other party couldn't penetrate his body without using Qi. If he uses Qi Jin, he will be given a chance to react. Of course, he will not be able to kill him with one blow, but at most he will be injured. As for the direct attack, even if the leader of Wuxian, 7 absolute gods of destruction, who is rumored to be a dragon that can't be seen from head to tail, Brahma Mie, comes in person, he can't kill him. He will not underestimate the leader of Wuxian. But even if the leader of Wuxian reaches the broken level, at most he will be on par with Yan Kuang too. Of course, Su Chen believes that Brahma Mie has reached that level. I have notified the 7 Dragons leader Wei Zhuang to investigate Wuxian. The 7 Dragons leader Wei Zhuang is ready to attack Wuxian. After the investigation, Yuan Suyin said. If they move, we must also show our support. Let Yajiyu Tajiminokami and Ban Xianayu cooperate with Wei Zhuang to attack. Since the opponent has taken action, then destroy them. Ban Xianayu has not left yet. Originally, he planned to send him to the East Pavilion to help Gu Santong and others, but before he was sent out, he received the news that Gu Santong had taken Kunlun and Li Chenshao had solved Qinglong Temple and Xiandingguang. I will arrange for them to contact the 7 Dragons leader Wei Zhuang. Master, I also want to personally deal with Wuxian, this time, Yuan Suyin said. Yuan Suyin himself was ready to kill Wuxian. You can take action if you have a chance, Su Chen nodded. But you should focus on the situation in the capital. The full moon is on the 15th day, but there are still a few days. Although Wuxian is important, Su Chen is still concerned about the battle in the capital on the 15th day of the full moon. After this battle, we should be able to understand a lot of things. Of course, the current strength in the Jiangnan region is still a little lacking, especially in the important cities in the Jiangnan region. The Beggars sect is now taking the path of surrounding the city from the countryside, gradually expanding from the surrounding cities to the important cities. What's more, the Beggars sect does not have many strong people. It can only rely on Feng to support it. It has a great momentum, but a weak foundation. Thinking of this, Chen still has 4 orange lottery cards in his hand. Draw them. The martial arts enlightenment of the 10 years after obtaining the character Ding Peng, the character Xiao Li Fideo Li Zunhun, and the character Xiao Siwu. A bottle of Shinrin pill, 30 pills bottle, Ding Peng's martial arts enlightenment in the last 10 years? Li Zunhun, Xiao Siwu, Chen's eyes were a little surprised. Check it out. Ding Peng's enlightenment in the last 10 years was the 10 years after he met Zi Feng. Ding Peng lost to Zi Feng the first time he met him. That was the gap in realm. After the enlightenment in the last 10 years, Ding Peng's strength might have reached the top. As for Li Zunhun, he can be said to be one of the representative characters in Gulong's novels. Little Li Flying Dagger. Li Zunhun's martial arts skills may not be high, but no one can dodge his flying daggers. Shangwen Jinhong ranked ahead of Li Zunhun. At that time, Shangwen Jinhong ranked much higher than Li Zunhun. By the end of Gulong's novels, Li Zunhun had become a figure in the mythical era. Gulong's novels have 4 decades. The first decade is Shen Lang, the second decade is Li Zunhun, the third decade is Yikai, and the fourth decade is Gongziyu. It can be seen that Li Zunhun is strong. Of course, Li Zunhun's flying knife is so strong because of his artistic conception. He is the best sword in Feng, and he can kill people with one sword. Not everyone can do it. His strength is at the broken level, and he is actually at the same level as Guan Yushin. As for Xiao Siwu, this person is a figure in Fu Hongxu's era. He wants to pursue Li Zunhun's flying knife realm. The Woyuang Xiao families, 4 nobles, name, looking for Xiao Li in heaven and earth, killing Yikai with 1 heart. 4 no means, flying knife is invincible, killing countless people, ruthless when turning against, and ruthless when not turning against. Likes to gamble with 1 knife. But his strength is in the 9 difficulties of heaven and man. Li Zunhun has appeared. I'm afraid Fei will also come to Jiangnan, Jingwuming, Shangwen Jinhong. Fei, Li Zunhun. This combination will not change. Li Zunhun is a prodigal. Su Chen's definition is King Longhu, the second dragon head of King Longhu, and there will be no conflict with Wei Zhuang. Temporarily helping King Longhu to guard Jiangnan and deal with Wuxian is more than enough. In a good mood. Wuxian, you should never have attacked me, Su Chen sighed. At this moment, Wuxian is in a dark base. In a remote courtyard. Several ordinary-looking people entered the courtyard. Let's hand in the task, one of them said, and opened a package wrapped with a human head. At this moment, a burly figure pushed forward, more than 10 feet tall, almost reaching the roof, with a fierce look in his eyes. It was Wuxiang Gui, one of the 4 kings under Wei Zhuang. Wuxian's base, it seems to be correct, After saying that, he punched out, and the terrifying fist force directly punched the person who had just entered in front of him and sent him flying. The chest was all smashed by the punch. You are looking for death? Seeing this, the others drew out their long swords and knives, but the long swords and long knives collided with the opponent's body, but did not cause any damage to the opponent, and did not even pierce the opponent's skin. Looking for death? Wuxiang Gui grabbed a man with both hands and tore him apart, blood spurting out. Run! Seeing this, the others fled outside without any hesitation. But before they could run out, they were blocked by the huge arm, and their bodies were shaken and flew backwards, spitting blood. For a moment, only the man next to the counter in the house was still standing. The man looked at Wuxiang Gui with cold eyes. I didn't expect that someone would dare to come to my Wuxian to cause trouble. I will kill you today. A long knife appeared in the hand of the man in black, and he kicked the counter in front of him away, and the counter went towards Wuxiang Gui. Wuxiang Gui smashed the counter with a punch. But at this time, the man in black flew into the air, slashed with a knife, and the sharp blade light slashed towards Wuxiang Gui, and a fierce look appeared on his face. Ling. But his long knife collided with Wuxiang Gui's arm. He still failed to cause any damage to Wuxiang Gui, and was grabbed by Wuxiang Gui's arm instead. Ah! The man in black screamed, and his arm was torn off by Wuxiang Ghost. Not only this place, but also some bases of Wuxiang in the black market, some bases in Jinling City were attacked. Chapter 671, After the Full Moon, the 9 dragons fight for the throne. A secret room. How dare the Qinglong Society do this? Song Yuchen smashed the tables and chairs of his men. His face was furious, and his body looked extremely ferocious. The Qinglong Society attacked their strongholds. In one day, Many strongholds were forcibly destroyed. Up to now, 18 strongholds in Jinling City have been destroyed. Strongholds outside the city, strongholds in other cities, and strongholds in the black market. No one from the Qinglong Society has appeared yet. From the information we have obtained, the other party has a lot of people in Jinling City, the housekeeper said in a deep voice. Notify other strongholds to hide quickly, and find out who attacked the Qinglong Society. I want to kill all of them, Song Yuchen said fiercely. Master, if this happens, we will go to war with the Qinglong Society. The whereabouts of the Qinglong Society are unknown now, and such a fight will be extremely disadvantageous to us, the housekeeper said. It is disadvantageous, but we, Wuxian, cannot suffer such a loss. You notify number 3 and others to take action as soon as possible, and kill the young leader of Qinglong who, first, let Tian Di Ershak help. If assassination fails, then attack head-on. Song Yuchen looked ferocious. Tian Di Ershak is able to fight head-on with the C's strong men. After we mobilize them, you will not have the opportunity to mobilize them this year, the housekeeper said. Now we can't care so much. 18 strongholds have been broken in a row. Qinglong Hu is stepping on us to get to the top. Do you know that the leader will arrive in Jinling City in the next 2 days? If I don't do anything, I'm afraid that the leader will chop me with a palm, so Su Chen must be killed as soon as possible to raise our momentum, Song Yuchen said in a deep voice. I understand. I will notify them right now and let them attack and kill Su Chen tonight and take off Su Chen's head. The housekeeper took the order and walked out of the secret room quickly. At this time, Nanguang family. Sister, the counterattack of the Qinglong Society is so strong that it took only 1 day to wipe out the 18 strongholds of Wuxian, and the speed is still continuing. If they do this, I'm afraid that Ghostface will go crazy. Ghostface can't find the Qinglong Society stronghold, and he will probably attack and kill Su Chen, Nanguang Yiren said. Perhaps the Qinglong Society wants him to do this, but this time we can see that the Qinglong Society has a lot of people in Jinling City. I believe that many forces will pay attention to the layout of the Qinglong Society in Jinling City. I just don't know how strong the Qinglong Society, 7 Dragons Wei Zhuang is, Nanguang Qiushu said. She got the news before Nanguang Yiren came. Although she was surprised, she knew that at this time, they could only watch. Participating in it is extremely disadvantageous to their Nanguang family. While they were talking, a burly figure appeared at the door. Father is here, Nanguang Yiren opened the door quickly. The burly figure was Nanguang Wenchen, the head of the Nanguang family. He did not enter the house, but said at the door, the leader of Wuxian, Feng Xianmi, will arrive in Jinling in 2 days. You can tell Su Chen the news. If Qinglong Hu replaces Wuxian, our Nanguang family hopes to form an alliance with Qinglong Hu, Nanguang Wenchen said, then turned and left. Another place. The capital. The imperial city, deep in the imperial palace. Zhu Pingsheng walked into the palace where Emperor Zhou was. Inside the palace, Emperor Zhou was practicing cross-legged, with his true energy flowing. One side was black, and the other side was golden. The 2 streams of energy were constantly flowing, and the black flow was weaker than the golden flow. As the 2 streams of energy flowed in his body, Emperor Zhou's own aura faintly exuded a terrifying pressure. When Zhu Pingsheng approached, the 2 auras on his body were slowly gathered into his body. Open your eyes. Something happened. I feel that the evil dragon's aura has increased a lot recently, which makes my black and white Emperor Sutra practice more smoothly, Emperor Zhou said. The East Pavilion of Xianaya Pavilion in the Great Wall destroyed Kunlun sect, and the 3 elders and the headmaster of Kunlun were all killed. Li Chenhao, the 3rd leader of Qinglong Society in the 9 northern counties, destroyed Qinglong Temple and defeated Xiandingguang. Xiandingguang fled and is now estimated to be on his way back to the capital. Also, Su Chen, the young leader of Qinglong Society, encountered an assassination attempt by Wuxian in Jiangnan. The first assassin was the 9th of the 36 top killers of Wuxian, but it was resolved silently, and Su Chen was protected by experts. The 15th day of the full moon is approaching, and the evil alliance is making frequent moves. The leader has appeared, but we don't know who it is yet. The second leader He Yishan is in contact with some killer organizations, and Zhenwu Garden will also take action on the 15th day of the full moon. Also, there is still no movement on the Imperial Master's side. I'm afraid something unexpected will happen. The Imperial Master has deviated from His Majesty's thinking over the years. This time, I secretly pushed the people of the Evil Alliance to take action against the Imperial Master. The Imperial Master didn't even react at all. I feel that things may be beyond my expectations, Zhu Pingsheng said in a deep voice. Nothing can happen unexpectedly. The Imperial Master understands my intention, but he is unwilling to help me. Since he is unwilling to help me, let his death help me. If the great Zhou Jianghu is not in chaos, the evil dragon cannot be formed, and the power in my body cannot be balanced. The Imperial Master was my teacher back then. Once he dies, the Jianghu will inevitably be in chaos. In this case, it will definitely help the evil dragon to form, but my teacher is not simple. You must be absolutely sure, Emperor Zhou said. He didn't pay much attention to other things. He paid attention to the Imperial Master and the situation on the 15th day of the full moon. However, this is still a little short. The 9 dragons fighting for the succession that you planned will also start after the battle with the Imperial Master. In this case, I believe it will be more chaotic. Emperor Zhou then said. I understand, there are many strong men who will take action this time, the most important of which are Xianwu Garden, Xian'ai Pavilion, Qinglong Club, Heian Mountain, Xian Zenman, and other top killers. They will all appear. With such a lineup, the Imperial Master will not have the chance to survive. Zhu Pingsheng said. How is the investigation of the people from the Changsheng Society and the Bulao Tang going? It has been found out. My subordinates have arranged people to contact them. I believe we will know something soon, Zhu Pingsheng replied softly. Okay, on the 15th day of the full moon, I will go into seclusion. According to the previously mobilized personnel, all will guard the Imperial Palace. After the retreat fails, the 9 dragons will compete for the throne, and the prosperity of this world will begin. After the Emperor of Zhou finished speaking, he closed his eyes and continued to practice. Zhu Pingsheng slowly left the room. He came here just to report some routine matters. Although the Emperor of Zhou has delegated power, he still has to report what should be reported. Stepping out of the palace, a gleam of brilliance flashed in Zhu Pingsheng's eyes. After the 15th day of the full moon, the great Zhou will really change. As the Emperor, I will definitely help you complete the true evil dragon body, step into the heavenly gate, and restore the supreme glory. And now so many sea-focused masters have gathered in the capital. Their death can further promote the formation of the evil dragon, so we can't let them be so quiet. Zhu Pingsheng hummed softly and left the palace. Chapter 672, The Sudden Change of the Banker, The Grave of the Dead. Jinling City. On the flower boat on Jinling Lake, Zhuang Zuanji, wearing a green dress, stood beside Su Chen. She looked a little girlish. Master, the exchange of gold notes may not be completed in a short time. It will take some time, Zhuang Zuanji said softly. Her face was a little bad. After she finished speaking, she looked at Su Chen with some trepidation. It was a little different from the time she promised at that time. The main reason was that her father didn't know why he didn't agree with the exchange of silver notes by multiple commercial banks. Zhuang Zuanji has been running the bank for many years and knows the situation of the bank. If it is operated nationwide, it won't take much time to exchange these gold notes secretly. Su Chen's face did not change, but he said, recently, Wu Shuang accepted the task of killing me. I don't know if you have received the news from the bank. What? Wu Shuang accepted the task of assassinating the master. Hearing this, Zhuang Zuanji was stunned. She really didn't know about this. These days, she has been trying to help Su Chen exchange those gold notes, but the progress is a little slow. They attacked once, but their strength was a little weak, and the person who came died. Su Chen's tone was flat, and he didn't take this matter to heart. It is rumored that Wuxian will attack 3 times. The first time they sent out was number 9 of the 36 assassins. Who do you think they will send the second time? Su Chen seemed to be chatting with Zhuang Zuanji, and did not mention the gold note. He was confident that no one in the world who swallowed his gold note could survive. Number 9, hearing this, Zhuang Zuanji's face changed. Born in the Jiangnan area, and now the ruler of the 3rd largest bank, Zhuang Zuanji certainly knew about the 3 major assassin organizations in the Jiangnan area. She also knew about the existence of the 9th of the 36 top assassins of the Wuxian organization. He had assassinated a strong man in the sea. They should send a more advanced assassin, Zhuang Zuanji said. It seems that you don't know much about what happened in Jinling City recently. Su Chen glanced at Zhuang Zuanji and said. There was a little doubt in his heart. According to reason, this is Jinling, and this Huangjia should have known about what happened here a long time ago. Why does Zhuang Zuanji seem to know nothing? Recently, I have been dealing with the exchange of gold notes and have not paid attention to other things. I guess my father knows that I am helping to deal with the gold notes of the headmaster, so the outside world has not informed me, Zhuang Zuanji said. Is that so? The gold notes are important, and you also need to pay attention to other things. I may leave Jinling and go to Shengjian Lake recently. You will arrange the follow-up matters. After the gold notes are exchanged, the people from the Qilin Club will contact you, Su Chen said. I will complete the exchange of the gold notes as soon as possible. I will go back and discuss it with my father, Zhuang Zuanji bowed. She needs to go back to understand what happened in Jinling City in the past few days. Su Chen nodded. After Zhuang Zuanji left, Yuan Suin on the side stepped forward and said, Headmaster, there may be problems with the Zhuang family. Do you want to investigate it? There are some problems. You can investigate it secretly. I want to see where the problem is. Zhuang Zuanji's performance just now was obviously that she didn't know. But it is not ruled out that she acted more realistically. Since there are doubts. Of course, we still need to understand clearly that the benefits of gold notes are huge, and the banker should not think of swallowing them. At this time, in a secret room of the banker's bank, Zhuang Mingfen, dressed in brocade, was standing respectfully in front of an old man in a brown robe. The old man's skin was pale, without a trace of blood, as if he had not seen the sun for many years. Zhuang Mingchen, you have replaced Zhuang Mingfen for 3 years, why haven't you completely controlled the banker's bank yet? The old man in the brown robe said in a deep voice. Mr. Ying, before Zhuang Mingfen died, he seemed to have a premonition of something and completely handed over the business of the banker's bank to his daughter. My niece is not only talented in business, but also extremely smart. She is also married to the whole family in Jiangbei. I am afraid that my feat will be exposed and my plan will be exposed, so I acted in secret and only achieved some results, but this time I got the opportunity. I believe I will be able to take down the banker's bank soon and complete the task of the tomb owner, Zhuang Mingfen said. From the conversation between the two, it can be seen that this Zhuang Mingfen is not Zhuang Mingfen, but Zhuang Mingchen, the uncle of Zhuang Zuanji. Since there is an opportunity, we must seize it. According to the master's guess, after the full moon, there will be changes in the martial arts world, and my dead man's tomb should also be born. The days when our dead man's tomb was suppressed by Emperor Zhou and could only hide in the dark will never come back. To be born, we need funds, which is why the master asked you to take over the Zhuang family bank, the old man in brown robe said. I will complete the master's task as soon as possible, Zhuang Mingsheng said. Report to me in time if there is any situation, so as to avoid problems. You go and deal with things first. After speaking, the old man in brown robe waved his hand. Zhuang Mingsheng bowed and left the secret room. Walking out of the secret room, Zhuang Mingsheng's eyes showed a coldness. This time I took down this Huangjia bank, and then took down the gold notes that the young leader of the Qilin Club asked me to exchange. This is a great achievement. As long as I report it to the tomb owner, I may be granted the Yuanqi Death Sutra by the tomb owner. At that time, my position will be higher than yours. You have to listen to me. Zhuang Mingsheng sneered in his heart and turned to leave. When he walked out of the secret room, the housekeeper of the Zhuang mansion appeared in front of Zhuang Mingsheng. Master, the young lady came back from Suchen to investigate the situation in Jinling City and asked why we didn't tell her about the Qilin Club, and, Wushan, the housekeeper said hurriedly. I will talk to Zuanji about this matter. Zhuang Mingsheng left with the housekeeper calmly and headed towards the direction of the hall. In the hall, Zhuang Zuanji looked at the information in his hand, his eyes condensed, and he didn't expect that Wushan and Qilin Club had been in opposition to this extent. Judging from this degree, Wu Shuang's second attack on Su Chen would probably be very fierce. She didn't know about this situation, which was completely unreasonable. No wonder the atmosphere was quite depressing when she entered Su Chen's flower boat. She wanted to ask her father about this matter. With the Zhuang family's channels, Wu Shuang should have received the task of assassinating Su Chen a long time ago, but he didn't pass this news to Su Xiaolongxiao. What did Su Xiaolongxiao think? Zhuang Zuanji knew the reason why Su Chen's tone was flat on the building ship. Father is really a little confused, Zhuang Zuanji sighed. After sighing, not long after, Zhuang Mingfen and the housekeeper entered the meeting room. Father, did you know that Wu Shuang accepted Su Xiaolong Xiao's task? Wu Shuang is one of the 3 major killer organizations in Jiangnan. We are just a bank and can't fight against such forces at all, so let Su Xiaolong Xiao solve such things himself, Zhuang Mingfen said. But what is our relationship with Su Xiaolong now? Zhuang Zuanji said in a deep voice. Zuanji, you helped Su Xiaolong to deal with a gold note issue. I didn't stop you and promised Su Xiaolong, but our Zhuang family's foundation is in Jiangnan. If you get involved in the matter of Wuxian, you may be doomed. I will not allow you to get involved. You will bring our Zhuang family bank into crisis by doing this. If you get involved in this matter, I will take back your control of the Zhuang family bank, Zhuang Mingfen said. Hearing this, Zhuang Zuanji's expression changed and his brows frowned. Think about it carefully, and don't bother me about this matter anymore. After that, Zhuang Mingfen left with a butler. In the hall, Zhuang Zuanji's beautiful eyes were solemn, and she left the hall after thinking for a moment. Chapter 673, Wuxian strikes again, crushing the enemy with overwhelming force. Dark night. On the lake, waves rose one after another, and the wind whistled around the boat. You mean, Zhuang Zuanji didn't know about this, but Zhuang Mingfen was blocking it? Su Chen heard Yuan Su Ain's report, and a puzzled look appeared on his face. When Zhuang Mingfen met last time, he seemed very enthusiastic, but he was smiling and hiding a knife, secretly tripping me up. From their conversation, I feel that Zhuang Mingfen wants to take back the control of the bank. This matter is a bit strange, Yuan Su Ain said. Then keep an eye on him and see what he wants to do. I can choose not to get involved in his affairs with Zhuang Zuanji, but if he wants to take my gold note, don't blame me for being ruthless. Su Chen's eyes emitted a fascinating light. Suddenly, Su Chen's eyes condensed. On the shore not far from the building ship, a group of men in black appeared. These men in black were extremely fast, holding long swords in their hands, and attacked this side. The speed was very fast, and they were under the boat in a blink of an eye. Kill them so openly? Kill them. Su Chen looked at the black-clothed man who appeared, his voice somewhat cold. Beside him, Yuan Su Ayan, a fierce aura appeared on his face, his figure flew out instantly, a long sword appeared in his palm, and he killed the group of people. The sword light flashed. Blood was splattered. Just a face-to-face encounter, several people were killed instantly by his sword light. Boom! At this moment, the window on the building ship was broken. 2 figures appeared. They held a thin sword in their hands, which turned into a stream of light and stabbed towards Su Chen. The speed was extremely fast. Ding! But at this time, 2 flying knives appeared and blocked the long swords of the 2 people. The long sword collided with the flying knife, and sparks appeared. The long sword was very powerful, and the 2 people who attacked did not retreat slightly. Xiao Siwu, dressed in white, appeared. At this moment, Xiao Siwu's eyes were cold and murderous. His slender fingers showed the 2 people he blocked. I don't know which is faster, my knife or your swords. I really want to make a bet with you. I bet your swords are not as fast as mine. When Xiao Siwu appeared, the 2 figures' eyes condensed. They stared at Xiao Siwu closely. Just now, 2 flying knives shook away their long swords, which shows his strength. Kill! Hearing Xiao Siwu's words, the 2 people's energy surged, and the other one stabbed Xiao Siwu with a sword. The other went to Su Chen, who was standing not far away. Swish! Swish! At this time, 2 flying knives flew out of Xiao Siwu's palm in an instant. One collided with the opponent's long sword, sparks appeared, but there was no stop. Like a meteor, with a swish, it pierced the opponent's throat. As for the other one, the flying knife went straight to the opponent's throat. However, this killer didn't care about the flying knife attacking his throat, and continued to attack Su Chen. Swish! But his speed was 1 step slower than the speed of the flying knife. He died from being pierced through the throat. Su Chen stood aside with a calm expression. I was really impressed. Xiao Siwu's flying knife was not at the same level as Li Zhenhun and Ye Kai, but his understanding of flying knives was probably second only to the 2. Otherwise, he wouldn't be called Siwu Gongzi. After all, one of them mentioned Li Zhenhun and Ye Kai. Xiao Siwu's flying knife realm was extraordinary because he could take these 2 as role models. Bang! Bang! At this moment, 4 figures rushed out from under the lake. Holding long swords, they were ready to cut with a knife. Swish. 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 4 silver lights appeared, and the 4 people holding long swords instantly fell onto the lake surface, and their blood instantly infected the surrounding lake water. Xiao Siwu jumped and appeared above the building ship. His eyes were sharp and he scanned the surroundings. He was dressed in white and whistled in the wind. At this time, 2 figures were looking at this side not far from the lake. It was Song Yuchen and his housekeeper. Who is this person? His flying knife is so powerful, Song Yuchen asked in a deep voice. There is no news about this person. He should be someone from the Qinglong society hiding in the dark, the housekeeper said solemnly. It seems that the other party is well prepared. Song Yuchen's eyes became cold. Master, do we need to make another move? The housekeeper asked. 12, 15, 17, the 2 killers of heaven and earth, have not moved yet, no need to retreat. Song Yuchen looked indifferent. Those who were killed now were just dead men. Their moves, or in other words, the moves of all the others, were preparations for the move of number 3. He believed in the move of number 3. Boom. At this moment, suddenly, the flower boat began to shake and sink. Someone pierced the bottom of the boat, causing the entire flower boat to leak and sink. At the moment the boat was tilting. In the lake, a black figure rushed out. The boat moved, but Xiao Siwu did not move. When he saw the figure appear, a cold light flashed in his hand. He threw the flying knife in his hand. But when he threw the flying knife, after that appeared, a burst of energy burst out from his body, and a layer of aura appeared around him. The flying knife collided with a key. With a bang, the key was broken, but at the moment when the key was broken, the figure punched out. The fist collided with the flying knife. The flying knife was blocked. The figure fell on the lake. If you can block my knife, I want to see how many of my knives you can block. Xiao Siwu kicked his feet and flew out, stepping on the lake, and the long knife in his hand flew out one after another. The speed was very fast. The opponent punched to block, but his fist collided with the first knife. But he found that the second knife light was coming, and he wanted to retract his fist to block it. Chi at this moment, 3 knife lights instantly pierced his body. Blood sprayed and fell on the lake. On the lakeside, Yuan Su Ain turned around and prepared to return. But a key appeared not far away. Then a figure walked out from the dark, with a true key flowing all over his body, and slapped Yuan Su Ain with one palm. This person's key was strong, and he slapped out with one palm, and the palm force collided with the air, forming a bang. Yuan Su Ain's figure was like a ghost, passing through the energy and appearing in front of the opponent. He slapped his palms on him several times in succession, and the palm force was like a meteor, penetrating the opponent's body. Puff. The chest of the person who made the move was instantly convex and concave, and a mouthful of blood spurted out, and he flew backwards on the spot. His internal organs had been shattered by the palm force, and his head tilted. And he had no breath. But at this time, a sword light, with the help of the moonlight, went towards Yuan Su Ain at a very fast speed. Puff. The light flashed. The person who made the move thought he had succeeded. But after the sword light passed, he found that it was just a residual image, and Yuan Su Ain had appeared behind him. But at this time, 2 figures appeared. These 2 figures were different from the previous ones. They exuded terrifying energy and their expressions were also extremely arrogant. They went towards the building ship that was about to sink to the bottom of the lake. Their faces were cruel, and they slapped out a terrifying energy in their palms at the same time. And a very weak divine power appeared faintly on them. These 2 people were about to realize the divine power. Although it was weak, it also affected the surrounding airflow. Just when they were about to rush to the building ship, a more terrifying aura emanated from the building ship, and a figure emerged from the building ship. Originally, there was moonlight around the building ship, but when this figure appeared, the surroundings became pitch black. The 2 who attacked saw this figure, their faces were horrified, and they quickly retracted their fists and prepared to retreat. The 2 retreated quickly. But the person who appeared was even faster. He instantly appeared in front of the 2 people, and the 2 long swords in his hands instantly chopped down their chests. Swish. Swish. Blood spurted out from the chests of the 2 people instantly, and then the terrifying sword energy rushed into their bodies. The 2 bodies flew backwards and fell to the ground without breath. In the distance, Song Yuchen looked at this situation. His face was terribly gloomy. Top C-level spiritual masters, Qinglong Society, are you trying to lure us to attack? Song Yuchen roared in his heart. Hall Master, This is the opportunity for number 3 to attack, and Su Chen must die. Seeing Song Yujin's ferocious face, the housekeeper hurriedly said. While he was speaking, at the bottom of the building ship, a figure rushed straight to where Su Chen was from the bottom of the ship. In the previous battle, this person had been hiding at the bottom of the ship and followed the lake water into the ship. After the top-sea concentrated strongman beside Su Chen made a move, he struck out with great speed. You want to kill me now? You underestimate me, Su Chen, Hunun Vajra cracked demon, boom. The violent ki force burst out from Su Chen's body. A cruel look appeared on his face, and his palm slapped out, like a giant bear, landing on the long sword. Crack! The long sword in the hand of the person who made the move was directly smashed. After the long sword was smashed, the palm clenched into a fist and punched out, and the terrifying force hit the opponent's body. The opponent was smashed directly from the building ship to the lakeside. The person who made the move screamed, and his body flew backwards and fell to the ground on the lakeside. There was a huge blood hole in his chest, and blood and internal organs flowed out. The scene was a bit horrible. There was only a little sound of exhalation in his mouth. He looked at Su Chen with difficulty, and after one look, his head tilted and he died. Chapter 674, following, guessing, Zhuang Zuanji's cruelty. In the distance Song Yujin's ferocious expression suddenly changed at this moment. Su Chen actually took action himself and directly blew up number 3, who had taken action. This was completely unexpected. He looked at the butler beside him with a fierce look. This is the information you gave me, a young dragon leader of the Qinglong Society, who has just entered the heavenly realm not long ago? The power in his body is probably close to that of a warrior whose Danshan has turned into sea. Song Yujin, who was speaking, grabbed the butler's throat with his palm. The power in his palm revealed the posture of breaking the other's neck. Master, I really checked it out. This Su Chen's strength was really not strong when he took action in the 9 northern counties. I didn't know he had such strength, the butler stuttered. He didn't dare to beg for mercy. He knew that if he begged for mercy, Song Yujin would not hesitate to break his throat. The loss this time was too great. Number 3, number 9, and Xiandi Ursha. Especially number 3, although his strength was average, he had a killer talent and was the person the leader focused on. Now he's dead. He didn't know how to explain to the leader. Go back first, we can't stay here. Song Yujin loosened his hand, glanced in the direction of Su Chen, turned around and left quickly. But they didn't notice that a figure was standing on a willow tree not far away. After they left, they quickly followed. Not far from the lake, some people watching the battle also left quickly. Judging from the current situation, the battle is over, and the people of Wushan should not make any more moves. From this battle, it can be seen that King Longhu has made preparations. Wushan's Xiandi Ursha was killed as soon as he made a move. These two people are rumored to have condensed a weak divine power. The two of them can fight against the ordinary Haishong concentrated god together. But they were killed when they met, which shows that the person who made the move is not an ordinary Haishong concentrated god. Let's go to another place, Su Chen said as the boat sank to the bottom of the lake. Master, please follow me. Yuan Suyin had already rented a house in advance. Xiao Su and Yuan Suyin followed Su Chen away. As for He Baijuan, he disappeared after he made his move. At this time, the news that Su Chen was attacked again was also fermenting in Jinling City. Jinling Lake is a famous place in Jinling City. Things fermented quickly here, and it involved 2 major killer organizations, so it spread even faster. Nanguang's house. In a study room. The lights were on. Nanguang Wenchen, who was wearing brocade clothes, looked at Nanguang Chu Shui in front of him and said, beside the young dragon leader Su Chen of the Qinglong Club, the warrior holding 2 swords who made the move should be a top-notch sea-concentrated strong man. It seems that I thought too simply about the purpose of this young dragon leader Su coming to Jinling City. He should not only complete Zhao Ziyoudi's mission, but also create an opportunity for the Qinglong Club to take root in Jiangnan. Hearing Nanguang Wenchen's words, Nanguang Qiushu's eyes moved slightly. Father means that Su Chen's appearance is the layout of the Qinglong Society in Jiangnan. That should be the case. You think the Qinglong Society is a killer organization, so the people in this force appear in secret. But this young leader Su did not hide his identity and came to Jinling. The 3 major killer organizations in the Jiangnan region are already deeply rooted. If the Qinglong Society wants to become one of them, or replace it, it must have a good excuse. This attack is his excuse, an excuse for them to attack Wuxian. It's justified, and it seems that they have a good grasp, Nanguang Wenchen said. Is that so? Then Su Chen should be considered to owe our Nanguang family a favor, Nanguang Qiushu said. The last time Nanguang Wenchen told her that the leader of Wuxian would come to Jinling in the next 2 days, she secretly told Su Chen. No, he doesn't owe us Nanguang family, but he owes you a favor. Now they haven't decided the winner with Wuxian, and it's hard to say who will win until the last moment, Nanguang Wenchen shook his head. On the other side, Zhuang Jia and Zhuang Mingfen were sitting in their study, looking at the secret letter in their hands. I didn't expect that the young leader of Qinglong Club would have a strong man who can concentrate his mind in the sea around him, but this is normal. If there is no strong man who can concentrate his mind in the sea, the gold note would not be safe in his hands. In this case, Nanguang Shuang, who was chasing the gold note outside the city, should have died at the hands of Qinglong Club. I didn't expect that I have another trump card in my hand, a trump card to threaten them. Zhuang Mingfen smiled. He shattered the letter in his hand and stood up to leave. But at this moment, there was a black bat hanging on the eaves of the roof. The bat watched Zhuang Mingfen leave and flew away. In a place in Jinling City, the main store of the Banker's Bank in Jinling City. In a secret room, there was a long and wide stone platform, with 9 people on both sides of the stone platform. The 9 people were fat, thin, and middle-aged. Their eyes were full of shrewdness and their fingers were covered with calluses. They were the 9 general managers of the Banker's Bank, which managed the banks across the country. I don't know, miss, what is the main reason for calling us here? One of them was fat, wearing a blue shirt and 3 gem rings on his fingers. This time, the 9 general managers came here mainly to exchange gold notes, Zhuang Zuanji said. Miss, the master meant that the bank cannot participate in this matter, the fat man who spoke earlier said in a deep voice. Now I am in charge of the bank, I know how to do it, you just need to do it according to my instructions. This is the business of our bank, and customers can't wait that long, so the 9 of you must operate at the same time, Zhuang Zuanji said coldly. Miss, what about the master? One of the older men said. I will tell my father in person, Zhuang Zuanji said. In that case, young lady, you are the head of the bank, I will follow your orders, the old man said. We will also follow your orders. 5 people followed immediately. Only 3 people were left, including the fat man, the other 2, one in black, with gloomy eyes, about 50 years old, and an old man in brocade. Young lady, without the consent of the master, the bank I manage will not operate this matter, the fat man said very clearly. Young lady, the master will not agree to this matter, I think you should ask the master first before deciding, the middle-aged man in black also spoke. Mr. Joe, you mean the same thing? Zhuang Zuanji looked at the old man in black who didn't speak. Manager Liu, what they said makes sense, young lady should ask the master first, the old man in brocade, known as Mr. Joe, said. Is that so? You guys go back first, I'll talk to the 3 managers again, Zhuang Zuanji said after thinking for a moment. Yes, hearing this, the 6 people who were sitting stood up, bowed, and left the secret room. Miss, no matter how you talk to us, we will not help you operate. This matter must be approved by the master, the fat man said righteously. What about you two? Zhuang Zuanji looked at the other 2. We agree, the other 2 nodded at the same time. In this case, then you should hand over the general manager's token. If you don't want to do it, let someone who can do it, Zhuang Zuanji said. What, you want to take our general manager position? We are appointed by the master. What qualifications do you have? I want to report this matter to the master. The fat man was about to stand up. At this time, behind Zhuang Zuanji, a figure appeared. The figure was extremely fast and instantly appeared in front of the fat man. Seeing this, the fat man's face changed, raised his palm, and slapped it. But when he shot, the other party's body shook and disappeared in front of him. Bang! Then he felt a palm strike on his chest, blood spurted out, and he flew backwards and hit the wall. When he fell, the man who had attacked him appeared in front of him and smashed his head with a palm strike. Chapter 675, Wuxian, Leader, 7 Absolute Gods, Brahma is destroyed. A bloody smell appeared in the secret room. Miss, how can you attack Manager Liu? Seeing this, the old man in brocade and the middle-aged man in black stood up and said. However, Zhuang Zuanji did not speak, but walked out from the chair, came to Manager Liu, and took out a token with the word Zhuang printed on it from his arms. There were some bloodstains on the token, and the slender palm wiped the token on the fat man's robe. I am the head of the Zhuang family bank. The appointment of the Zhuang family bank is all decided by me. Zhuang Zuanji's voice was cold and chilly. Miss, you are presumptuous. The master is still here, and the bank still belongs to the master. We are just following the master's orders, the middle-aged man in black robe said. His expression was a little ugly. He didn't expect Zhuang Zuanji to kill people. You have all followed my father for many years. I think you should know some news that I want to know. Zhuang Zuanji looked at the two and whispered. Miss, I don't know what you are talking about. How do we know what you want to know? The middle-aged man was startled, but a strange look flashed in his eyes. Zhuang Zuanji kept looking at him and saw the strangeness in his eyes. She also saw the strangeness in the eyes of the old man in brocade robe next to the middle-aged man. He looked into the darkness. 3 swordsmen with long swords walked out. The moment they walked out, they drew their long swords and went towards the middle-aged man. The middle-aged man's face changed. He twisted his body and wanted to move, but the 3 swordsmen blocked his transfer space. In this short time, 3 sharp swords pierced the middle-aged man's chest. Zhuang Zuanji, you are so cruel. The middle-aged man turned his head and looked at Zhuang Zuanji, his face ferocious. Sneer. The 3 long swords were withdrawn. The middle-aged man fell in a pool of blood. Among the 3, only Zhou Lao was left. Mr. Zhou, I think you should tell me. Tell me, I will send the rest of your family away from Jinling safely. If you don't, they will be buried with you. Zhuang Zuanji's voice was cold, revealing a murderous intent. It seems that the eldest lady knows that the second master killed the old master and pretended to be the old master. When Mr. Zhou spoke again, he looked at Zhuang Zuanji. He found that Zhuang Zuanji's face was calm and her eyes were looking at him. Although Zhuang Zuanji's face was calm at the moment, her heart was not calm at all. Her father was really dead. I don't know how the old master died. We only discovered the strangeness of the old master later. The young lady should want to ask about the power behind the second master. To be honest, we don't know either. It was the second master who contacted me frequently that I found out about this matter. When I named him, the second master actually admitted it directly, and threatened my whole family, and promised great benefits, so I surrendered to the second master. As for how the 2 of them surrendered to the second master, I don't know. Young lady, how did you find out that the second master was pretending to be the old master? Mr. Zhou looked at Zhuang Zuanji and said. He has been a little impatient recently. It reminds me of why he has not allowed me to stay in the Zhuang family manor for the past 3 years. He has also been instilling in me the idea of letting me freely choose my husband's family. He is afraid that I will bring half of the Zhuang family's bank to the whole family. Half of the bank is the dowry that my father promised to give me when he married the whole family. Of course, if he hadn't prevented me from exchanging the gold notes, I wouldn't have thought so much. If I didn't think so much, I wouldn't have discovered so much, Zhuang Zuanji said coldly. Miss, you are really smart. No wonder the master chose you to be in charge of the bank. The second master is not your opponent. I hope you will abide by what you just said. While speaking, the old Zhou slapped his chest with his palm. A mouthful of blood spurted out, and the whole person fell to the ground. The swordsman next to him took a look at the body of the old Zhou. He stepped forward and stabbed him in the heart again. Dispose of their bodies and tell the outside world that they are here to discuss things with me. Zhuang Zuanji opened his mouth and ordered. Yes, the swordsman holding the long sword bowed. Then the 3 bodies were dragged off the ground and the blood was cleaned up. At this time, a maid in blue came in from outside. Miss Wuxian tried to assassinate Su Xiao Long Xiao for the second time and sent out the 2 killers of heaven and earth, but they were killed by a swordsman holding a double-edged sword. Hearing this, Zhuang Zuanji's beautiful eyes moved slightly. The 2 killers of heaven and earth are people who are rumored to have gathered weak divine power. They were killed by someone in one blow. The person who shot them was very powerful. Yi Guqing and Zimenchuksu followed them to Jiangnan. But Yi Guqing and Zimenchuksu had already left Jinling and came to the capital. She didn't expect that there was such a master besides Su Chen. Not only that master, there was also a flying knife warrior besides Su Xiao Long Xiao. The flying knife was extremely sharp and killed every time, the blue-clothed maid said. It seems that King Longhu is very powerful in Jinling City. If I give the entire Huangjia Bank to Su Xiao Long Xiao, he should be able to help my father avenge. Zhuang Zuanji showed a smile on her face. Although she didn't know who was behind her second uncle, it was definitely not simple. She couldn't get revenge on her own. So she had to use the banker's money house, including herself, to ask Chen to help her get revenge. Another place. Song Yuchen and the housekeeper returned to their manor. Entered the secret room. Immediately notify the Jinling city and surrounding strongholds to hide temporarily and wait for the arrival of the leader, Song Yuchen said to the housekeeper. Yes, the housekeeper immediately entered the backyard. Not long after, a gray pigeon flew out of the backyard. Just a knife light appeared in the moonlight, and the gray pigeon that rushed into the sky fell to the ground. The white figure came in front of the gray pigeon, sucked the gray pigeon that fell to the ground into his palm, took off the flying knife stuck in his body, and then left with the gray pigeon. The next day, when everyone continued to discuss what happened in Jinling Lake last night, Song Yuchen broke the precious 1,000-year-old sandalwood in front of him with a palm. You said that all the secret agents in Jinling City have been cleared out, and the same is true outside the city. Now only the black market is left. Song Yuchen had arranged for all the bases to be hidden last night. But when he woke up this morning, he got such news. How could he not be surprised and angry? Suddenly, his face changed. You said that my manor, Kinglong Club, might have known about it, Song Yuchen said in a deep voice. Master, we have only one-time communication with the base through carrier pigeons, and no one will know about this place. I guess they should have obtained the information about our base on the black market. Some days ago, someone secretly bought the information about my base from the black building. The black building has always only recognized money and not people, the manager said hurriedly. No. I always feel that it is not safe here. You and I went to the black market, and they didn't take action in the black market. They should not know the base of the black market. Just as they were talking, a woman in a gorgeous dress walked in from outside the door. Master, someone is looking for you outside the door. I brought you in, tisk. As the woman was speaking, a sword light appeared behind her, and the enchanting woman was killed by a sword. A man in a green robe walked in. Master Song, the leader asked you to go with me to the black market to meet him. Let's go, the man said coldly. From the man's words, we can know that the leader of Wushan, Keju Destroyer, and Brahma Destroyer have arrived in Jinling City. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.